Hidden Leaf Village, morning of the graduation exam. The morning sun bathed the Hidden Leaf Village in golden light, rousing its people as a new day began. Among the early risers was Naruto Uzumaki, academy student and host to the Kyuubi no Yoko, the nine-tailed fox that ravaged the village over a decade ago. In that catastrophe, many lives were lost, including that of Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage. He gave his life to stop the beast by sealing it within his newborn son using the Reaper Death Seal, a forbidden technique that summoned the god of death himself, who claimed the soul of the one performing the ritual. The Nine Tails couldn't be bound by ordinary means or sealed into an adult. Its chakra was too corrosive, too immense. The only vessel strong enough to adapt to its presence was a newborn infant, one whose chakra pathways were still developing. Minato's final wish was for Naruto to be honored as a hero. Sadly, that hope was quickly abandoned. When the third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, resumed leadership and the truth of the incident leaked, grief twisted into rage. The villagers, unable to strike back at the beast, turned their hatred on the child who carried it. Despite enduring years of scorn, Naruto never gave in. He wore a mask of foolishness to hide the pain, yet deep down he was anything but a fool. He understood the nature of the seal on his stomach and what it contained. He'd heard the insults: demon spawn, fox freak, and worse. Rubbing the last remnants of sleep from his eyes, Naruto spotted the date on his calendar and gave a slight smirk. So, today's the big day, huh? Just my luck if it's the clone jutsu again, the one technique I can't quite get down. He pulled on his usual orange outfit, when he promised himself he'd retire after today, and wandered into the kitchen. Grabbing a cup of instant noodles, he set the kettle on the stove. As the water boiled, his thoughts turned inward. Why me? Why was I the one chosen? The question haunted him, though he knew no answer would ever come. Once the ramen was ready, he scarfed it down and stepped out the door, unaware of how much his life was about to change. Academy entrance. Shortly before class at the school gate stood a girl, scanning the street nervously. Her deep blue hair cascaded down her back, nearly reaching her waist. Dressed in navy blue pants wrapped at the ankles and a layered combination of a mesh shirt, dark undershirt, and oversized gray and blue jacket, Hinata Hyuga shifted from foot to foot. Heiress of the prestigious Hyuga clan, she was one of the few villagers who showed Naruto anything resembling kindness. Despite her efforts to hide it, it was no secret she harbored deep feelings for him. Spotting Naruto approaching, she smiled shyly. Good morning, Naruto-kun. Ready for the exam?" He glanced at her, a calmness in his voice matching his collected demeanor. "So long as it's not that clone technique again, I should be fine. Shall we head inside?" He offered his hand with a faint smile. Hinata blushed furiously but nodded, falling into step beside him. Classroom Uruka's room, the classroom buzzed with excitement. Students chatted and laughed, all eagerly anticipating the graduation test. Among them were the most promising of their generation. At the back of the room, a boy snoozed with his arms behind his head. His dark hair spiked back like a pineapple, and his casual vest and fishnet combo marked him as Shikamaru Nara, heir to a clan renowned for their strategic minds and shadow techniques. Next to him sat a larger boy munching through his fourth bag of chips. Choji Akimichi, proud member of a clan known for their strength and size-altering jutsu, wore a jacket bearing the kanji for food. Elsewhere in the room sat a quiet, mysterious boy in a high-collared coat and dark sunglasses, Shino Aburame. The heir to the insect-controlling Aburame clan, Shino was calm, reserved, and difficult to read. Near him sat a loudmouth chatting with his dog companion. Kiba Inuzuka, wild, brash, and proudly feral, wore a fur-lined jacket and boasted about his future greatness to his ninkin, Akamaru. Off to the side, brooding in solitude, sat a black-haired boy whose cold gaze and permanent scowl discouraged conversation. Sasuke Uchiha, the last loyal survivor of the Uchiha clan, wore a blue shirt with the clan's red and white fan emblem on the back. His elder brother Itachi had massacred the entire clan for reasons still unknown. Two girls sat not far away, throwing glances toward Sasuke. One was Ino Yamanaka, blonde and confident, clad in purple and white. The other, pink-haired Sakura Haruno, wore a red dress and black shorts. Ino hailed from a prestigious clan. Sakura did not. Naruto and Hinata entered the room together, taking in the commotion. Naruto turned to her. "Mind if I sit with you today, Hinata-chan?" Still red-faced, she nodded. Kiba noticed. His face twisted in disgust as he approached them, barking, "Back off, loser." Hinata's mine, not yours. Naruto didn't even turn his head. Oh, that's so. Last I checked, she's a person, not some object you own. And unless I missed a collar with your name on it, I think you're full of the same crap your breath reeks of. The class went dead silent. Even Uruka, just stepping into the room, froze. Then, DAAMN. Naruto wrecked him, Choji shouted, setting off a storm of laughter. Even Sasuke chuckled, which caused some fangirls to faint and others to run to the windows, half convinced the world was ending. Kiba, red-faced and furious, lashed out with a punch. Naruto moved in a blur, grabbing his wrist, pushing it aside, and countering with a body shot that knocked the wind from Kiba and sent him sprawling back into his seat. The room was stunned into silence again, until Shikamaru strolled over, looked down at Kiba and muttered, "Yep, he's out cold." Uruka, shaking himself out of his shock, cleared his throat. We'll begin with a written exam. Afterwards, we'll move on to the physical tests, taijutsu and ninjutsu. Mizuki will pass out the test papers. You have 30 minutes. Naruto looked down at the paper in front of him, immediately noticing it wasn't the same as Hinata's. A genjutsu, no matter. He knew how to break it. 25 minutes later, Uruka called time, prompting Mizuki to begin gathering the written exams for grading. He then guided the students outside and began explaining the next test. The taijutsu assessment will be conducted in a one-on-one format. Your score depends on your performance, not on whether you win. No ninjutsu or weaponry allowed. Being forced out of the ring results in an instant loss. When I call your name, you'll choose your opponent. Just make sure it's someone who hasn't already fought or been picked. First up, Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke stepped confidently into the sparring circle, already having decided who he wanted to challenge. Uruka asked, "Who will you face?" Without hesitation, Sasuke replied, "Naruto Uzumaki." Naruto, lounging under a tree next to Hinata, sighed and stood up, hands tucked in his pockets as he slowly made his way toward the circle. He saw the smug grin forming on Sasuke's face, clearly expecting an easy victory. But Naruto wasn't going to let that happen. As Uruka gave the signal, "Begin," Sasuke lunged forward with the signature precision of the Uchiha clan's interceptor style, aiming to end it fast. But Naruto leaned back effortlessly, pivoted, and with a swift kick to the side of Sasuke's head, launched him clear out of the ring. The crowd gasped. Naruto simply slid his hands back into his pockets, face expressionless. As the other matches took place, Naruto found himself strangely craving more action, an unfamiliar itch for battle building within him. Once all the sparring had concluded, Uruka called everyone back inside for the final part of the exam. The jutsu test. Classroom. Once everyone was seated, Uruka addressed the class. The final exam is simple: produce 3 solid clones. If you do that, you pass. Naruto began to sweat nervously. Of course it had to be the one jutsu I completely suck at, he thought bitterly. Hinata noticed the anxiety on his face, but couldn't comfort him, as her name was called next for testing. Naruto continued to curse his misfortune internally. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Sasuke already sporting a forehead protector, smirking arrogantly, while his fan club swooned like fools. Uruka, who also noticed Naruto's unease, silently apologized in his mind. He hadn't chosen the test, Mizuki had. "Your turn, Naruto," Uruka finally said. Naruto rose and walked down the steps to the front of the classroom. Whispers and giggles followed him, most prominently from Sakura and Ino, who mocked, "He'll never pass. Can't even do a basic clone." Ignoring them, Naruto stood before the 2 instructors and formed the required hand signs. But just as he activated the technique, his chakra control faltered. Only 1 clone appeared and it looked half dead. Laughter erupted through the room. Hinata looked down, disheartened. Uruka shook his head. "I'm sorry, Naruto. Despite your performance earlier, without a pass in this section, your overall score isn't enough. You didn't make it." Eyes dull and expression hollow, Naruto trudged back to his seat. The room was quiet. Uruka cleared his throat. "Congratulations to those who passed. Come back tomorrow to learn your team placements." Dismissed. With that, he disappeared in a flicker of movement. The class began to empty out. Outside the academy, Naruto sat alone on the swing set in the courtyard, watching as his classmates were joyfully greeted by their proud families. His eyes glinted with longing. This was what he'd always wanted, but never had. He overheard 2 women whispering, their judgmental expressions confirming they were gossiping about him. He sensed someone approaching, Mizuki. Naruto remained silent until the man spoke. "Tough break today, huh? Uruka really wanted to pass you, But there is a way to make it up. Naruto turned slightly, eyeing the man with suspicion but said nothing. There's a scroll in the Hokage's possession. If you can get it, study just one technique, and master it, you'll become a genin. Sounds like a good deal, right? Naruto, seeing through Mizuki's fake smile to the malicious gleam in his eyes, decided to play along. What do I need to do? Mizuki handed him a map. This will show you where to go. Get the scroll from the Hokage's archives, then take it to the marked location. I'll come evaluate you there. Naruto nodded and dashed off. Mizuki walked the other way, both unaware that they were wearing nearly identical smirks. Time skip, forest clearing. Naruto landed softly in the secluded clearing, right where the old shack stood, its presence undisturbed. The large scroll rested heavily on his back, the infamous forbidden scroll. With a determined breath, he slid it off, letting it roll open before him. His eyes locked onto the first technique. Shadow clones, huh? Another clone jutsu. Wait. The shadow clone technique is an advanced variant, requiring substantial chakra reserves. Control isn't the key. The user just divides their chakra among the copies and that's it. This is perfect for me. Just one hand sign too, this could work. As he practiced the technique, Naruto found it surprisingly smooth compared to the basic clone jutsu. No failures, no explosions, just results. Encouraged, he continued unrolling the scroll until something odd caught his eye. A strange seal. It wasn't part of the list. His eyes narrowed. A blood seal, he murmured, recognizing it from one of the few academy lessons he paid attention to. He bit his thumb and swiped his blood across the seal. With a faint glow, it released another scroll, slightly smaller and a letter aged and worn. Curious and with time to spare, Naruto unfolded the letter and began to read. To the one who finds this, if you're reading this, it means someone with my blood has awakened the seal. You're likely wondering who I am. My name is Kratos, once a mortal Spartan, son of Zeus, and a former god of war. My tale is long and bloodied. I was once a commander in Sparta's army, feared and revered. During a desperate battle, with death looming, I called upon Ares, the god of war, for salvation. He granted me power, and in return, I served him, wielding the cursed blades of chaos, forever bound to me by searing chains. I raised temples and led campaigns in his name, destroying all in my path, until I crossed a line I never meant to. One mission led me to a village with a shrine to Athena. I was warned not to enter, but I ignored the voice within. When the battle haze lifted, I found my wife and daughter among the dead, tricked by Ares, who believed loss would mold me into a perfect warrior. Cursed by an oracle, the ashes of my family fused to my skin, branding me the ghost of Sparta. For years, I served Olympus, hoping my deeds would end my nightmares. Eventually, I was tasked with saving Athens from Ares himself. To defeat a god, I needed Pandora's box. I succeeded in retrieving it, but Ares killed me before I could use it. Even death wouldn't claim me. I defied the underworld, returned and destroyed Ares, ascending in his place as the new god of war. But peace was fleeting. The gods turned on me and my father, Zeus, betrayed me. Zeus stripped me of my power using the blade of Olympus and struck me down. Again, I was dragged to the depths. But this time, Gaia, the Earth Titan, rescued me, reminding me of my Spartan pride. She led me to the Sisters of Fate, whose power could alter time. I fought beasts and legends, manipulating destiny itself to stop my death and challenge Zeus. Athena tried to intervene, sacrificing herself in the process. Her final words revealed the truth. I was Zeus's son. With the threads of fate, I brought the Titans back to my era and waged war upon Olympus. I faced Poseidon and broke the ocean. I climbed the mountain of the gods, only to be betrayed once more, even by Gaia. In the depths of Hades, the river Styx robbed me of power, but I clawed my way out. There Athena, reborn in a new form, gave me the blades of exile. I faced Olympus alone. Hades, Hermes, Helios, Hera, Hercules, none stood in my way. The world plunged into ruin with each death. I met a girl named Pandora who helped me reach the flame that shielded Pandora's box. But when the flame died, the box was empty, or so I thought. My final battle with Zeus shattered both body and soul. In my rage, I struck him down. Yet it wasn't brute strength that saved the world, it was hope, locked within the box. I released it before vanishing, my story ending there. Alongside this letter is a scroll. It contains the relics I gathered, each sealed by a unique condition. They won't yield their power freely. Only when your strength is worthy will they unlock. And should you ever face death's door, speak my name. I will answer the call, my blood. Go forth with strength, child of Sparta. Kratos, ghost of Sparta, slayer of gods. Naruto stared at the parchment, stunned. A divine lineage. Weapons from another world. A heritage soaked in vengeance and power. He didn't hesitate. With quick hands, he sealed both the letter and the secondary scroll into a blank scroll from his pouch, copying the blood seal for future use. Whatever this was, it was his legacy now. Not even 5 minutes after he'd hidden the scroll, Uruka stormed into the clearing, his face twisted in anger. What were you thinking, Naruto? Why did you steal the restricted scroll? He demanded. Naruto let out a sigh, his suspicions confirmed. So this wasn't some kind of makeup test, I figured as much. Mizuki wanted this scroll and used me to get it, didn't he? Uruka barely had time to respond when a flurry of kunai zipped past them. They jumped apart just in time. Mizuki stood atop a tree branch, wearing a smug, cruel grin. 2 massive star blades were strapped to his back. Good work, Naruto. Now hand over the scroll. Do that, and I'll make sure you become a shinobi. Naruto didn't flinch or reach for the scroll. Uruka, meanwhile, was still processing what Naruto had said. Had he realized it was a trap the whole time? Naruto slowly stood, and Uruka shouted, "Don't listen to him. Run!" But Naruto turned to Uruka, his eyes cold and unreadable. The stare made Uruka tense. Naruto then looked back at the traitor as Mizuki spoke again. Ever wonder why they all hate you? Why the villagers glare at you like you're a monster? Uruka knew where this was going. Mizuki, stop, that's forbidden. Mizuki ignored him. 15 years ago, a beast attacked this village. Everyone was told it was destroyed, that's a lie. The 4th Hokage couldn't kill the beast, so he sealed it. Into you, you're not human, you're the 9-tailed fox. Both adults watched Naruto closely, one fearing his emotional collapse, the other hoping for it. But Naruto didn't waver. What came out of his mouth next chilled even Mizuki. And this is supposed to be news, I've known about the fox. If you think that makes me the beast itself, then you're either drunk or incredibly stupid. Uruka almost laughed. Naruto added, and you're just another fool. Running away isn't an option, that's the same as giving up. As he said that, a strange figure shimmered into view behind Naruto, tall, ghostly white, marked with red, with twin blades on its back. Because warriors never retreat. Mizuki snarled and began laughing. What a dramatic little act, too bad it ends here. He whipped out one of his giant shuriken and spun it, preparing to hurl it. Uruka lunged forward to protect Naruto, but the boy moved first. Multi-shadow clone Jutsu. 10 copies of Naruto appeared instantly. 2 grabbed Uruka and flung him out of harm's way as the rest rushed Mizuki. Caught off guard, Mizuki was buried beneath a flurry of fists. Uruka watched in awe. Not only had Naruto used an advanced technique, but he was winning. Unfortunately, it didn't last. With a roar, Mizuki burst free of the clones, sending Naruto flying. Snarling, he pulled out a small vial filled with purple liquid. That's it, you're both dead. Thanks to the power gifted to me by Lord Orochimaru. He drank the potion, shattering the vial at his feet as he transformed. Muscles bulged, his skin was replaced with striped fur. His hands grew claws, Mizuki was no longer human. No one can stop me now, he roared, relishing Uruka's horrified expression. But Naruto remained eerily calm, his face unreadable. Mizuki charged, claws ready to tear Naruto apart. Naruto, heart-pounding, couldn't move. But he did the only thing he could. He screamed, Kratos, time slowed. A blinding light filled the clearing. Naruto closed his eyes, and when he opened them, he stood in a barren world lit by eternal flame. A towering warrior faced him, ashen-skinned, red-marked, weapons chained to his arms, radiating power. So, you carry my bloodline, the warrior asked. Name yourself. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Are you Kratos? The ghost of Sparta nodded. You are in need, I cannot fight for you but I can arm you. With a gesture, 2 harpy-like beings emerged, each carrying a curved blade. These are the blades of chaos, first given to me by the god of war. If you accept them, the chains will bind to you forever. Naruto didn't hesitate. To protect what matters, any price is worth it. The chains flew from the harpies, latching onto Naruto's arms. The searing heat barely made him flinch. Kratos nodded in approval. They will grow with you. Remember, a true warrior never yields. Fight with everything. Naruto gripped the blades tightly. Now go, Kratos commanded. Back in the clearing, time resumed. Mizuki still charged, until he noticed the new weapons in Naruto's hands. He scoffed. You think toys will save you? Naruto's voice came, deep and ancient. Even the hands of death couldn't hold me. The weavers of fate couldn't bind me, and you will not see the sunrise. Mizuki leapt. Naruto moved instinctively, slashing in a wide arc. The blades screamed through the air, and Mizuki's head fell to the ground. Uruka stood frozen. Naruto had made his first kill, and he wore no fear. But the boy stumbled toward a bush and vomited, the reality of it catching up. Uruka approached gently. Naruto, close your eyes for a moment. He removed Naruto's goggles and replaced them with a forehead protector. Open your eyes, you've graduated. The moment was broken as a squad of masked ANBU arrived. One of them asked, "What happened here?" Uruka explained everything. Naruto, still recovering, muttered, "No need to tell the old man anything. He probably saw the whole thing through his magic ball. I saw a white-haired guy using it to peep once." In the Hokage's office, Hiruzen dropped his pipe. "Damn it, Georgia," Uruka chuckled. "Naruto, come to the academy tomorrow. You'll be assigned a team." Naruto nodded, quietly walking home, his thoughts heavy with everything that had changed. Naruto stepped into his home, the ancestral scroll strapped to his back, and the chaos blades clinging to his shoulders like silent guardians. After shutting the door behind him, he set the scroll down gently, knowing that understanding it was essential. Using another blood seal to open it, he was met with a massive sealing array composed of 4 concentric rings, like ripples in a pond. The innermost ring held a single seal, while the outer rings contained multiple seals each. As with the rings of Pandora, I constructed a puzzle, one that only a true warrior may solve. The weapons I acquired during my battle against Ares lie within the outermost ring. Those earned in my rebellion against the tyrant who called himself my father, Zeus, are in the next ring. The tools forged in my war upon the heavens are within the second closest ring. But in the heart of the seal rests the mightiest of all, the blade of Olympus. To my descendant, you may draw from the first ring. However, access to the next is granted only upon mastering the weapons of the former. These arms grow not through training, but through conquest. Bathe them in the blood of the fallen. When they glow crimson, you will know mastery has been achieved. Do not falter, you are a Spartan, and Spartans do not retreat. Naruto stared at the text, all written on his face. He removed the blades from his back and noticed that the blood from his encounter with Mizuki had vanished. In its place, the blades seemed subtly changed, the edges sharper, the skull-shaped guard's teeth slightly longer. So the blades evolve by feeding on blood. That won't be easy to explain to my squad. He sighed. But there's no backing down now. He retreated to his room, pondering how he'd sleep while wearing the blades. As if responding to his thought, the chains detached and vanished. In their place were faint tattoo-like markings winding down his arms. The blades, now dormant, bore sockets where the chains would attach. "Looks like the old man made some upgrades," he muttered, then collapsed into bed. Naruto opened his eyes, only to find himself standing in a sewer-like environment, dim and labyrinthine. "Really? My mind is a sewer? Great," he groaned. He noticed a passage glowing more brightly than the rest and headed that way. This has to be the fox's doing, he thought. As he stepped into the light, he was briefly blinded, and then the room came into view vast, towering like a cathedral. A massive gate dominated the space, adorned with intricate framing and thick bars, with a sealing tag pinned in the center. "So this is the beast's prison," he murmured, just as a crimson eye lit up the darkness behind the bars. "So my jailer finally comes to visit. How quaint," said the deep, rumbling voice of the Ninetales. "You mean you didn't call me here?" Naruto asked, blinking. "Then who?" Suddenly, a golden archway flared to life in the room's wall, and a voice answered, "I did, my descendant." A man emerged from the arch, tall, powerful, with pale skin and a crimson tattoo running down one side of his face. The fox's eye narrowed. "You, the God Slayer, why have you come into this boy's mind?" Kratos stepped forward with quiet authority. "Because he carries my blood, and I've come to bestow upon him a weapon I retrieved from the underworld. It may prove useful to him." He raised a hand, and fire erupted from the floor, receding to reveal a formidable scythe. Its shaft resembled a human's spine, and it bore dual blades, one large and forward-curving, the other smaller and hooked backward. 2 grip extensions jutted from the main blade, perfect for close combat. Naruto's eyes widened. "Now that's a weapon. What's it do?" Kratos gave a rare smirk. "Try it for yourself." "I never used it, but its former owner had no more need for it." As Naruto grabbed the weapon, foreign memories flooded his mind, visions of a knight in white armor with a red cross, wielding the scythe with terrifying grace. Naruto mimicked a few moves, noticing that the weapon extended like a spear when swung downward. He thrust it at the wall, its spine-like pole stretching to impale stone. Kratos nodded. You'll need to learn how to handle polearms. Some of my other weapons demand it. This one will reside in the scroll's first ring. Use it well. With that, Kratos disappeared back into the arch. The fox, watching curiously, hummed with interest. So the child of the God-Slayer walks among us. Fascinating. Perhaps it's time I made things more comfortable. The beast's form shifted, shrinking, reshaping. When the transformation was done, a beautiful woman stood at the bars. Long crimson hair flowed down her back, and a blood-red kimono clung to her curves. Her sharp eyes glowed with amusement. Well, she asked, her smirk teasing. Do you find this form more to your liking? Naruto blinked. Damn. First Tsunade now you. I guess this world was wrong about powerful women. She tilted her head, intrigued. You're not surprised I'm female, Naruto shrugged. Most people probably assumed you were a guy because of your voice. Change it back, you'll hear why, she did, then grimaced. Oh no, I do sound like a dude. Naruto chuckled. That's the problem. She smiled, genuinely amused. But it's nearly morning, Naruto said, stepping close. I need to go, but if you ever want to chat or anything else, you're free to call me. He vanished from the mindscape, leaving the now female fox staring after him. Dear heavens, was he serious? Part of me hopes he was. Naruto's apartment. Naruto stirred from sleep as a knock echoed through his apartment. Cautious, given past ambush attempts, he instinctively summoned his weapons. Twin chains slithered from his forearms, linking to the handles of his signature blades. With one blade gripped tightly, he cracked the door open and found an ANBU agent kneeling at his threshold. The only marking on the otherwise plain mask was the kanji for root. What brings you here, ANBU? Naruto asked, his tone cold. The masked figure bowed low. Apologies for the intrusion, Naruto-sama. I was instructed to inform you of a council gathering scheduled for 2 p.m. today. Attendance is mandatory. Naruto's eyes narrowed at the mention. Understood, and do pass my regards to Danzo for the message. The ANBU noticeably tensed at the name but departed silently. Checking the time, Naruto noted he still had an hour before class. Now that I'm a genin, I can finally shop like a real shinobi, not at those overpriced civilian dumps. I know exactly where I'm going. He dressed swiftly and slipped out into the village streets, heading toward a familiar shinobi supply shop. Takashi's weapons store. As Naruto approached, he spotted a girl, likely a year older, tidying the storefront. She wore green trousers, a pink Chinese-style top, and had her hair tied in 2 buns. She was mid-sweep when Naruto called out, "Shop open yet?" The girl turned, offering a small smile. "It is now. Haven't seen you around here before. What's your name?" Naruto smirked. "Isn't it polite to offer yours first before asking someone else's?" A faint blush touched her cheeks, but she replied, "Tenten, my dad owns this place. So what's your story?" "You a ninja? Just got my headband yesterday," Naruto said, gesturing to it. "Couldn't shop here before civilian restrictions. Now that I'm in the ranks, it's time to upgrade from this," he added, tugging at his bright jumpsuit. Tenten nodded emphatically. "No argument there, that thing screams target me." "My thoughts exactly," Naruto said. "I've got a meeting with my team leader later, and I plan to look the part." Tenten, having heard rumors about Naruto during her time at the academy, was taken aback. The boy in front of her didn't match the loud, reckless troublemaker people often described. Instead, he was composed, articulate, even confident. "Well then," she said, opening the door, "let's find you a look that'll make an impression." The store's interior was packed with gear, from kunai to flak jackets. Naruto scanned the racks quickly, grabbing items with precision and heading to the fitting room. 10 minutes later, when the curtain was pulled aside, Tenten stared in disbelief. Naruto had ditched orange completely. He now wore a short-sleeved black coat with crimson flames licking up the bottom, reminiscent of the Fourth Hokage style. His pants were black and stopped just below the knees, with shin guards secured by metal chains. Fishnet armor peeked from under his coat, revealing defined muscles. Fingerless gloves and forearm guards completed the look. His scroll rested on his back, with the twin blades sheathed across his shoulders. "How much for all of this?" Naruto asked, snapping her out of her trance. 200 ryu, she managed, still flustered. Naruto handed over the cash and said, "As much as I'd love to chat with a charming girl like you, I've got to get to the academy. Can't make a bad first impression." Tenten nodded, her face warm with blush as she watched him leave. She quickly rang up additional sets of the same outfit, knowing he'd be back soon. Ninja Academy classroom, the room buzzed with excitement as students chatted about potential team placements. The usual crowd of Sasuke fangirls gossiped loudly. One student, however, sat quietly, Hinata Hyuga. Her pale eyes scanned the room, disappointment settling in when she didn't see Naruto. The door creaked open. Heads turned. Everyone expected another petty scuffle between Sakura and Ino, but instead, a transformed Naruto strode in. His new look drew gasps and blushes. Hinata's heart soared, he had graduated after all. Kiba, unable to help himself, barked, "Hey loser, what are you doing here? This class is for graduates you didn't pass." Naruto calmly tapped his headband. "Might want to get your nose checked along with your vision, flea boy. Looks like I did pass." Snickers broke out in the class as Naruto walked toward Hinata, who was now blushing furiously. Kiba bristled. "Where'd you get those blades, huh? And that scroll?" Before Naruto could answer, the door burst open and Ino and Sakura barged in, yelling over each other. Naruto winced as their screeching assaulted his enhanced hearing. "Gotta ask Kai-chan what's going on with that later, but first, will you two keep it down?" he barked. Pretty sure folks in Kiri heard that. Sakura snapped, "Shut it, Naruto. This room's for real shinobi, not failures like you." "I already said I passed," Naruto replied. "But since you're hard of hearing, maybe this'll help." One of his blades zipped through the air, embedding itself in the desk just behind Sakura. The flames around it flickered briefly before fading. A thin lock of her pink hair drifted to the floor. Sakura shrieked, "Are you trying to kill me?" "That was the plan. Shame my aim was off," Naruto said darkly. "If you really thought I was just some loud idiot, you've been played." The fool act, all part of the mask. Shock rippled through the class. Hinata felt a surge of pride. Kiba fumed. In the corner, a mysterious girl with black hair smirked. "Danzo-sama was right," Sasuke scoffed. "Hand those blades over, loser. An Uchiha like me could actually make use of them." Naruto's expression twisted into disgust. "These are a bloodline inheritance. Only my kin can wield them. Even if I wanted to give them up, which I don't, I can't." He raised his arms, showing the chains that bound the blades to him. The class stared in silence. Sakura, as usual, added her nonsense. "Don't be stupid, Naruto, just give them to Sasuke-kun." Before Naruto could explode again, Uruka stepped into the room. "I heard enough," Uruka said sternly. "Sakura, attempting to take a clan relic is a criminal offense. I suggest you let it go. Naruto is within his rights." Uruka opened his clipboard. "Now then, team assignments. Squad 1, skipping ahead, Squad 7, Sakura Haruno, Sasuke Uchiha, and Kiba Inuzuka. Your Jonin leader is Kakashi Hatake." Sasuke didn't react. Sakura grinned smugly. Kiba looked ready to strangle someone. Academy rooftop, Naruto followed behind Enko as they climbed up to the academy's roof. As he walked, he took a good look at his new mentor. Honestly, how could anyone in this village not see how amazing she is? She opened the rooftop door and took a seat on the railing at the edge. With a casual tone, she started. "Let's get introductions out of the way. I'm Enko Mitarashi. I like good company, dango, and working in interrogation. I really dislike traitors, a particular snake bastard, and some folks around this village. My hobbies are the same as my likes, and my dream, ending that damn snake's life." Naruto stepped forward and replied, "Now that I'm officially a shinobi, I can drop the act. Name's Naruto Namikaze. I like a few people here. And a certain foxy lady. My dislikes: arrogant jerks and two-faced asshats. I spend my time training and digging up info about my family. And my dream, taking revenge on the person who shattered my life, starting with a certain snake freak." Enko froze at the surname, Namikaze, and the venom in Naruto's words stirred something inside her. She also caught that subtle hint in his likes and couldn't help but ask, "These few women you like, who might they be?" Naruto flashed a smug grin. "Oh, you'll find out soon enough." Enko rolled her eyes, trying to stay composed. "Normally I'd have you do a bell test or something, but we're not exactly a typical team. We'll skip it." Naruto smirked. "Good call. I'm guessing it'd be a fight with you." She nodded, then blinked as he unstrapped one of the twin blades on his back. "These guys only come in 2 settings, kill or dismember, and I'd hate to mark up that pretty face of yours." Enko was momentarily speechless, both from the flirtation and the brutal aura of the weapon. Naruto's tone was light but held a deep current of respect. "Don't get me wrong, you're a Jonin for a reason. I've met some pretty intense beings, Even found out a certain fox in this village is actually female. Anko raised an eyebrow. He met the fox, and she's a girl, huh, strike one for us, she shook it off. We'll start missions tomorrow, no D-ranks, I hate those trash chores. Naruto nodded. Agreed, leave that to the civvies. Anko let out a hearty laugh. I think I'm gonna like you, kid. Naruto turned to leave. Glad to hear it. We've both been through hell, Anko-sensei. Guess that means we're the ones who'll understand each other best. Anko sat in silence for a long moment after he left. Who is this kid, Naruto Namikaze? Council chambers. 2 hours later, Naruto stood outside the chamber doors, arms crossed. This better be worth it. If those damn civilians start whining again, someone's losing a head. An ANBU beside him chuckled. You're up, brat, make it memorable. Oh, I plan to, Naruto replied, stepping through the opening doors, which slammed shut behind him. The Konoha Council was split into 3 groups. The Elder Council, consisting of the Hokage and his senior advisors, the Shinobi Council, formed by the clan heads, and the most irritating, Civilian Council, wealthy non-shinobi, mostly useless but loud. Naruto's eyes immediately locked onto an aged man in black robes, bandages covering parts of his face, and a familiar scar on his chin, Danzo Shimura. The two shared a short, knowing glance. Naruto stood before them, chains hanging loosely from his wrists, the scythe strapped across his back. So, what are the civvies complaining about this time? He asked bluntly. Some shinobi smirked behind their hands. The mood shattered when Sakuya Haruno, mother of a certain loud pink-haired girl, snapped, Watch your mouth, brat, we could execute you for that, Naruto scoffed. You've tried before. Yet here I stand. Why are you even in this room? This is shinobi business. The Hokage interjected calmly. Let's get to the point. Naruto, you were found after eliminating a known traitor, yet there was no blood at the scene. Care to explain? Naruto cleared his throat, adopting a lecturing tone. The weapons you saw have special properties. No matter how much I train, they won't improve unless they absorb blood. Except for my scythe, it doesn't need it. These blades feed off the kills I make. Considering I'll be taking high-level missions one day, it works in everyone's favor. Sakuya stood and shrieked. Those belong to Sasuke-sama. Hand them over. Naruto and Tsume Yuzuka both grimaced at the noise. Tsume barked, for Kami's sake, shut up already. Naruto held up the sealed scythe scroll, then summoned his twin blades with a flick. These are part of my family's legacy. Try taking them, and I'm within my rights to defend them with lethal force. You want to test that law? One fat merchant stood and shouted, You dare threaten us, you cursed. A flaming blade flew and sliced cleanly through his neck. Silence followed. Naruto smiled coldly. Shame, he'd still be breathing if he knew the law. The civilians nearly wet themselves. Even the shinobi were thinking, thank the gods the Uchiha aren't here, or Fugaku would have tried the same stunt. Hiruzen sighed, he's ready, I can't hide it anymore. Naruto, it's time you learned the truth about your heritage. I kept it secret at your father's request, but you've proven strong enough to hear it. Naruto's lips curled upward. This is going to be fun. Your father was the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze, the Yellow Flash. Your mother was Kushina Uzumaki, the Red Death. She came to us after her homeland fell, and well, you're the result. All but Danzo in the civilian section fainted with a loud thump. Everyone else thought the same thing. What a joke. Hiruzen pressed on. Due to your bloodline, you now fall under the CRA. That means you're required to have 5 wives minimum before you turn 18. Understood, Naruto replied with a smirk. Crystal clear. Then this meeting is adjourned. Hallway outside, as Naruto walked out, he was stopped by Tsume Yuzuka. I heard what my son did yesterday. I'd like to apologize. No need, Naruto said calmly, though I'd recommend teaching him some respect toward women. The way he acts, it'll get him killed, or worse. Tsume winced knowingly. I'll handle it. Looks like you've got more company. With that, she vanished in a puff of smoke. Naruto turned and spotted Seiya. Danzo-sama would like a word, she said. I'll take you to him. Naruto nodded, and with a hand on his shoulder, they vanished. Root HQ Danzo sat in a chair as Naruto entered. The elder looked up, a faint smile on his face. You made quite an impression at the council. Naruto grinned. Wouldn't have been ready without your warning. Thanks for that. Danzo's expression turned serious. We located your mother. She was hidden in a sealed section of the hospital, left in a coma by the elders. My operatives extracted her. She's recovering but won't wake for a few weeks. Naruto clenched his fists, then slowly nodded. Good, they'll pay for everything. Those geezers, the civvies, all of them. Danzo offered a reassuring nod. Their time will come. As will Midoriya's and Orochimaru's, I'll help you ensure it. Naruto gave a sharp grin. I appreciate it. I also noticed Kiba didn't end up on Hinata-chan's team. You're doing? Danzo nodded once. Yes. I had Seiya placed on that squad to ensure the Inuzuka boy didn't harm her. His file was troubling. 1 month later, Naruto and Anko had grown noticeably closer during their time as mentor and pupil. They were often spotted either at a dango shop or spending time with Kurenai's team. Naruto had been steadily improving his proficiency with his weapons, both the iconic blades of Chaos and the massive, curved blade of Artemis. Despite its size, the latter wasn't as heavy as it looked, and now shimmered with a faint violet aura. The blades of Chaos, meanwhile, had begun to emit a red glow from the etched runes on them, evidence of his mastery. Several weeks earlier, Danzo had informed Naruto of promising news. His mother was finally stirring from her coma. Flashback 2 weeks prior, as another grueling training session with Anko wrapped up, a root operative appeared before Naruto in a flicker of movement. Anko's instincts kicked in, her kunai drawn in a blink, but Naruto gently held her wrist. What do you want? Naruto asked calmly. The masked ANBU bowed slightly. Naruto-sama, urgent news from Danzo-sama. Your mother's condition has improved. She's waking. With your approval, we'll relocate her to your family estate discreetly. Naruto nodded. Proceed quietly. I don't want the council knowing she's no longer under their control. The operative vanished in a whirl of leaves. Anko crossed her arms. You're working with Danzo, Naruto turned toward her. He's the reason I found my mother, and he arranged for us to train together. I know he has a reputation, but he's been feeding Orochimaru false information for some time now. Thanks to that, I learned how to remove that cursed seal of yours. Her hand instinctively went to the mark on her neck. Naruto stepped closer, gently placing his hand over hers. We share the same enemy, he said. I've developed a way to remove that curse, but you'll have to trust me. If there's even a chance you can remove it, Anko replied, do it. Not even Jiraiya could. If you succeed, I owe you everything. Naruto smiled faintly, lifting her chin with 2 fingers. Just close your eyes. As she did, her mind was pulled inward. She found herself standing beside Naruto and a woman dressed in a blood-red kimono with 9 swaying fox tails. The Kyuubi, Anko whispered. The woman smirked. Correct. And now I understand why Naruto's taken such a liking to you, strong, bold, and not afraid to bite. Both blushed, but the moment passed quickly as the Kyuubi's tone shifted. There's no time for flattery. I can sense where the curse's power is rooted. Follow me. They reached a chamber where a shadowy figure resembling Orochimaru lounged on a throne. Anko nearly lunged forward, but Naruto stopped her. That's a fragment of his soul. Destroy it and the curse goes with it. He drew the blade of Artemis, vanished, and reappeared behind the throne in a blur. A clean diagonal slash split both the image and the throne. Blood pooled momentarily before being absorbed by the blade. Anko felt the curse dissolve. The 3 exited her mind. Back in the real world, Anko inspected her neck, clean skin, unmarred. She turned to Naruto, tears welling in her eyes, and kissed him deeply. It's gone, she whispered. Thank you. And did Kyuubi say something about you liking me? Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. I have for a while now, but didn't want to complicate things. Anko grinned, opening her coat just enough to tease him. Think I'd mind? Naruto took her hand. Come on, I want to make sure my mother's okay. At the Namikaze compound, Naruto and Anko entered quietly, led by a single root ANBU who had remained behind. Upon reaching Kushina's room, Naruto dismissed him. He approached the bed where a red-haired woman lay resting, dressed in a hospital gown. Her dark green eyes slowly fluttered open. Minato-kun, she murmured. Naruto chuckled softly. No, just his son. Her eyes widened. Naruto, it's really you. Yep, I guess I take after him, huh? You certainly do, Kushina smiled. I bet the girls are falling over themselves for you. Anko shifted awkwardly. That your girlfriend? Kushina asked, grinning knowingly. She's my sensei, Naruto began, but I hope it'll be more than that someday. Anko blushed. I wouldn't mind either. Kushina's smile faded as she asked, how have things been for you? Anko stepped in. Rough. The councils made sure of that. Kushina's face hardened. That old monkey should have removed them years ago. Minato was planning to before, well, you know. Naruto nodded solemnly. Yeah, I met with them recently. They put me under the CRA. Anko blushed again. Kushina noticed the weapons strapped to Naruto's back. You found the clan's weapons scroll, she said. I never used them, but I'm glad you could. You need anything, Mom? Naruto asked. I'm fine, just need rest. Anko added, you should take it easy, your body's still recovering. Naruto continued, the council had you sedated all this time. Danzo pulled some strings and had you moved here safely. Kushina exhaled deeply. Glad he's on our side at least. She lay back, allowing herself to drift off. Naruto and Anko stepped out to let her rest. Outside the room, Anko pulled Naruto into another kiss. Were you serious? She asked. About the CRA and wanting me, Naruto nodded, cheeks pink. I meant every word. She smiled and kissed him again. Flashback ends now. The pair made their way to the Hawkage's office for their next mission. Squad 8 was already present. The Hawkage stood behind his desk. Good, you're all here, Hiruzen began. Squad 7's mission to escort Tazuna to the Land of Waves has escalated from a C rank to an A rank. I'm sending you all for reinforcement. Naruto's eyes lit up. An A rank? Now that sounds fun. Anko had a similar look. Maybe we'll even get some alone time, she mused. I want you all heading out immediately, Hiruzen ordered. And Naruto, don't hold back. Naruto saluted and left to inform his mother. Meanwhile, Kurenai pulled Anko aside. How are things going between you two? Anko blushed. He's amazing, strong, calm, and has this magnetic pull. Wait, you too? Kurenai's eyes widened. Anko nodded. He's of age, under the CRA, and he did something no one else could. With that, she turned to prepare. Kurenai was left to ponder until Hinata approached. Sensei, we should get ready. Kurenai nodded. Naruto and Anko will meet us at the West Gate in an hour. Pack light, we're heading to the Land of Waves. West Gate 1 hour later, Naruto and Anko arrived, meeting up with Kurenai and her team, Shino, Seiya, and Hinata. Naruto bore a large scythe across his back, his clan scroll secured. Kurenai looked at the assembled group. This mission is now confirmed as A rank. Stay sharp and move swiftly. Let's go. Tazuna's house Kakashi sat comfortably, flipping through his familiar orange book despite Tsunami's visible disapproval. Sasuke lingered in a dark corner, moody as always, while Sakura buzzed around him like a mosquito, trying to win his attention. Kiba was busy whispering to Akamaru, likely scheming about how to charm Hinata. Tsunami was preparing dinner when a knock echoed through the house. Meanwhile, Tazuna was already a few cups into a bottle of sake. Tsunami opened the door to find Naruto and a group of shinobi standing at the threshold. In a calm, composed voice, Naruto said, Greetings. Were the reinforcements requested by Kakashi? With a polite nod, Tsunami stepped aside. Please come in, we've been expecting you. Upon entering, Anko gave Kakashi a sidelong look. What kind of mess did you get tangled in this time? Kakashi replied flatly, It's Gato, the shipping magnate. He's hired missing nin to eliminate Tazuna. One of them is Zabuza Mamachi, the demon of the hidden mist. Naruto arched a brow. And you let him get away? Let me guess, you held back because you're stuck playing babysitter. Sakura immediately snapped. He was protecting the client, you idiot. Naruto's glare silenced her. I wasn't talking about the client, you imbecile. Kurenai stepped in to diffuse the tension. Let's not argue, we're on the same side. Naruto gave a short nod. I'll be out training. Anko-sensei, I'll be back shortly. With his twin blades strapped to his back, Naruto headed for the woods. Kiba sauntered over to Hinata, trying his usual charm. Want to take a walk, just the two of us? Hinata turned her nose up. No thanks, creep. Before Kiba could retort, Seiya appeared behind him. Back off, she's clearly not interested. Kiba growled, she'll come around. She's going to be mine eventually. Anko appeared in a flash, kunai to his throat. Try anything stupid, and if I don't kill you, Naruto certainly will. Those two are close. Kiba scoffed. Yeah, right, that loser. He's got nothing on me. Anko rolled her eyes. You clearly haven't seen him lately. If you push him, he won't hesitate to take your head off. Akamaru groaned mentally. Why is he always like this? Forest clearing, Naruto took out the blade of Artemis and tested its weight with a few practice swings, chopping through trees like butter. After taking down 15 trees, he finally sat down, sticking the blade into the earth beside him before dozing off under the stars. Morning light filtered through the trees as a girl in a pink kimono decorated with brown swirls stumbled upon him. Her long brown hair swayed gently with the breeze. She noticed the massive blade first, then his headband. He must be with the reinforcements. I can't let him interfere. but as she moved to strike, her hesitation grew. Her kinder instincts won, and she gently shook him awake. Naruto opened his eyes slowly and blinked at the sight before him. Am I dreaming, or did an angel just wake me up? She blushed faintly. My name's Haku, I'm gathering herbs. Naruto smirked. For Zabuza, right? Haku froze. Don't worry, he continued. Gato's no ally, he'll turn on you both, he always does. My advice, ditch him and join us. But how can I trust you? She asked nervously. Naruto rose to his feet. Name's Naruto Namikaze. I can guarantee safety in Konoha. I've got influence with the Hokage. I can tell you have a Keke Genkai. That's why you left the mist, right? Yes, is that going to be a problem? She asked warily. Not in Konoha. Bloodlines are valued there, he assured her. When you fight us again, I'll give you and Zabuza the chance to join us. You won't regret it. She nodded, eyes lingering on the sword. As she left, Sasuke appeared. That sword's wasted on you, hand it over. Naruto calmly picked it up with one hand. Try and take it, and I'll cut you in two. Sasuke wisely backed off. Back at Tazuna's house, Naruto re-entered with the blade slung over his shoulder. Kakashi's visible eye widened. I don't ever want to be hit with that, Naruto smirked. Good instinct, I tested it earlier, trees didn't stand a chance. Sakura scoffed. Yeah right, like you could do that. Anko spoke up from the couch. He can and has. It's how he trains. Kakashi changed the subject. Alright, time to train. Kurenai's team as well. Naruto, Anko, you're free to do your thing. Out in the woods again, Anko asked. Any trouble earlier? Ran into Haku. Set the stage for a possible alliance. If things go well, only Gato and his goons will die. Anko walked closer, a seductive sway in her steps. Looks like you've got everything figured out. Naruto grinned. I played the fool in the academy, but not anymore. She straddled his lap and kissed him deeply. When they finally pulled apart, he chuckled. That's one hell of a morale boost. She grinned wickedly. Just imagine what happens when we're actually alone. Time skip morning of the final battle, a scream jolted Naruto awake. He rushed downstairs, blades of chaos chaining to his arms mid-motion. Two thugs had cornered Tsunami and Inari. Naruto's blades lashed out, decapitating both. Inari looked up in awe. How? Naruto answered coldly. Men like Gato rely on money. Take that away and they're nothing. He left shadow clones behind and rushed to the bridge. On the bridge, Kakashi's group stood ready. Zabuza and Haku were already waiting. The workers had all been knocked out. Anko stepped forward. Well, what's your decision? Zabuza replied. Did some digging. The kid was telling the truth. Old man were no longer enemies. Kakashi visibly relaxed. Sasuke, not convinced, drew a kunai. You expect us to trust them. We should finish them now. He charged only to be stopped cold. Naruto's blades of chaos hovered inches from Sasuke's throat. One wrong move and Sasuke would be dead. Zabuza's eyes widened. Those blades, they're real. The sacred blades of the war god himself, Naruto nodded. They are, and considering Kiri's Spartan-like training, it makes sense you'd recognize them. Zabuza did something no one expected, he bowed. Then I acknowledge you, Naruto-sama. I would follow a warrior like you. Naruto replied, Stand tall, swordsman. There's still work to do, and it looks like the rat has arrived. Gato appeared on the far end of the bridge, flanked by an army of thugs. He sneered, So you betray me, Zabuza. Kill them all, but bring me the women. I could use some entertainment. Suddenly, the air turned heavy, thick with killing intent. Naruto's blade pulsed with violet energy. Zabuza drew his massive sword, his face twisted in rage. Touch my daughter and I'll slaughter every last one of you. Naruto's eyes glowed blood red. Inside his mind, the nine tails stirred with pleasure. Yes, yes, paint the bridge red. Show them what real power looks like. Naruto stirred awake, expecting the familiar damp corridors of his mindscape. Instead, he was met with grandeur, a place far removed from the dark sewer he once knew. Towering marble columns stretched to a golden ceiling, and divine light filtered through high, ornate windows. It felt like a realm of gods, a throne room befitting a deity of war. He walked the long path ahead, the marble glowing faintly beneath his feet, and reached a temple-like chamber. Its design was opulent, majestic, reminiscent of the throne halls from ancient warrior legends. As he passed through the entrance, a soft, rhythmic sound caught his attention. Following it led him to a veiled doorway, where, upon drawing aside the curtains, a vivid blush crept up his cheeks. Later, Naruto gently undid the bindings on Kyubai's wrists. She placed a hand on her stomach, voice low and flushed. If we were outside this seal, I might have become a mother just now. Her eyes were soft with emotion. Naruto touched her cheek and replied, I'll find a way to set you free. You've been with me when no one else was. Whatever sin you've carried, I'd say you've atoned 1,000 times over. She smiled shyly, gesturing around the lavish room. I made a few changes. This new setting felt appropriate for the emerging god of war. I remember how the divine halls once looked. Thought, why not give my champion a home worthy of his strength? Your bloodline. Well, let's just say your ancestor knew how to enjoy power. Wine, song, pleasure, he even shared company with a goddess or two, but that age has passed. And now the title is vacant, awaiting you. Naruto embraced her tightly. Then I'll claim it, and I'll destroy anyone who threatens those I care for. She melted into his arms, and soon, both fell into a peaceful sleep within each other's embrace. Tazuna's house, Naruto's room. Naruto awoke, surprisingly refreshed considering the previous night. He looked down to find Haku and Hinata sleeping against his arms, and Anko resting peacefully on his chest. Seiya leaned against the far wall, watching him stir with a knowing smirk. Kyubai's voice echoed fondly in his head. My love, who knew you had such a pull with women? You're truly your ancestors' heir. I wonder what other adventures await us. Naruto chuckled, which stirred the girls. Anko hugged him tightly. Don't ever scare us like that again, she muttered, relief in her voice. Naruto gave her a soft pat and said, just pushed myself a bit, nothing serious. He glanced around and saw his coat, gear, and scroll stacked neatly in the corner, but his gaze darkened. What happened while I was out? He asked, noticing the tension in the room. Haku, uncharacteristically upset, replied, the Uchiha tried to break in to steal your scroll, and that banshee helped him. Zabuza-sama stood guard afterward, and Anko placed sound and privacy seals. No one hears in and no one hears out. Naruto's eyes flashed red, fury building. I warned them, I gave them every chance, and they still think they're untouchable. Anko's face twisted in disgust. Worse. They came in the middle of the night. When they saw us like this, that brat called me a whore and tried to attack Haku. Hinata trembled slightly. Kiba tried to drag me away. Said something about putting me in my place. Naruto's chakra erupted, flaring with enough force to crack the seals. That's enough, I've had it with those entitled scumbags, I'll deal with them personally. Just then, Zabuza entered. So they told you, huh? Good. Sasuke officially challenged you for your weapons. Since it's a clan issue, we can't interfere. Naruto held out a hand, summoning his scroll. Twin blades emerged, worn yet glorious, golden with age and power. As they latched to the chains on his wrists, memories surged into his mind. He saw a mighty warrior spinning through water and fury. One name etched itself into his mind, Divine Reckoning. With a wide grin, Naruto turned and marched to the field where his so-called rivals awaited. Training field, Kakashi sighed, rubbing his temples. Kurenai pinched the bridge of her nose. Shino and Seiya looked ready to pounce. Across the field, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kiba smirked arrogantly, completely unaware of the storm approaching. Naruto arrived, eyes glowing, no longer red or blue but a deep golden hue. Kurenai squinted, sure she saw glowing markings on his skin. Tattoos, symbols of power. Naruto handed his scroll to Anko, who kissed his cheek. Time to show them what happens when you try to rob a Spartan. Drawing his blades, Naruto said nothing. Sasuke scoffed. Loser, those weapons are mine soon enough. Maybe even those girls too. Without warning, Kiba lunged from behind, while Sasuke and Sakura came from the front. Anko moved, but Zabuza held her back. Clan matter. Besides, Naruto-sama won't fall to mere pups. Naruto spun. Divine Reckoning. A roaring vortex of water exploded outward, sending all three attackers flying. Hinata gasped. It was like her clan's rotation technique, but fueled by raw power. Sasuke staggered upright, only to find a blade inches from his nose. These blades, Naruto said coldly, are mine. No council, no spoiled clan brat, no one is taking them. He grabbed Sasuke's arm, raising his blade to the wrist. In my ancestors' time, thieves lost their hands. Want to test the tradition? Zabuza grinned. Anko looked hopeful. Kiba and Sakura had soiled themselves. Literally, Naruto's tone dropped to a deadly whisper. This is your last warning, do you understand? Sasuke nodded like a bobblehead. Naruto let go of his arm with disgust. Without another word, Naruto turned his back and walked off, his allies flanking him. He left behind the stench of fear and a clear message. Challenge him again, and there would be no second warning. Time skipped the bridge. A few days later, squads 7 and 8 were ready to leave. Naruto and Enko each carried sealing scrolls packed with their belongings. Without a client to escort anymore, they planned to return by nightfall, assuming Sakura didn't get too tired. The townspeople of Wave cheered, all attention on Naruto. Inari looked as if he might cry until Naruto reassured him, saying, "Stay strong, Inari. You'll need that strength to protect this land and ensure someone like Gato can never harm it again." Inari smiled and replied, "I'm not sad, I'm happy. I'll be the man my father wanted me to be and protect everyone I care about." Naruto pulled out a wooden Spartan blade from his scroll and handed it to Inari. "That's the right mindset. I'm looking forward to seeing you live up to your word." Inari grinned as Anko, Haku, and even Hinata observed, thinking he's good with kids, definitely a plus. Kurenai reflected, he showed such controlled brutality, but only to protect us. Maybe Anko was right. He's far stronger than we thought. Kakashi, with his nose buried in his book, thought to himself, knowing Sasuke, he'll likely try to have Naruto's weapons confiscated through the council. And of course, the civilian council will likely side with him. I'm glad the shinobi council's on Naruto's side. Zabuza grinned widely, proud to be under the protection of a descendant of the god of war, and secretly pleased that his adoptive daughter had caught Naruto's attention. Naruto smirked, leading his team away. Once out of earshot, Tsunami asked, "What should we name the bridge?" Tazuna suggested something silly, but was quickly shut down. Inari spoke up, "How about the Great Naruto Bridge?" The townspeople cheered. It seemed fitting to honor their hero. Timeskip Konoha Gates Kurenai noticed Naruto chatting with Hinata and Seiya, pleased to see him getting a response from the normally shy Hinata, if her blushing face was anything to go by. Anko was speaking to Haku and Zabuza, while Kakashi remained absorbed in his book. Sasuke sulked in the background, and Sakura tried to get him to go on a date. Kiba, meanwhile, alternated between glaring at Naruto and ogling Hinata, receiving whacks from Akamaru every time he did. As they approached the gates, Kakashi greeted the guards. Squads 7 and 8 returning from the Wave mission, with 2 ninjas seeking asylum. The guards saw Naruto and bowed respectfully. This surprised everyone except Anko and Naruto, who thought, Mother must have made an appearance in the village. "Good to know she's active again." One of the guards spoke. "It's good to see you back, Naruto-sama. Your mother has been eagerly awaiting news from your mission." Naruto nodded, saying, "I appreciate it." "What's happened in the village while I've been gone?" The other guard responded, "Your mother revealed your true identity to the public. Some still don't believe it, but they've been dealt with." Naruto nodded again. "I figured she'd wait until I got back, but it's good to hear she's recovering well." Naruto, Zabuza, Haku, and Anko walked ahead, and they heard one of the guards say, "Before you go, there's a council meeting scheduled for your return. Best of luck, Naruto-sama." A hand rested on his shoulder. "Thanks for the heads up," Naruto muttered, and with Anko's shunshin, the group quickly left for the meeting. Council chambers, the group appeared near the door, 2 ANBU guards standing watch. Naruto overheard one of them saying, "Tough luck, kid. Can't get a break, huh? Thought they learned their lesson last time." Naruto grinned, replying, "Guess I really need to make those civilians fear me." The ANBU chuckled. "You're damn right, give 'em hell, kid." Naruto's grin widened as the doors opened. He walked forward, the blades of Athena resting on his back, and asked, "What now? The council wants to see me again already." The shinobi council smirked. Naruto noticed his mother entering with Sarutobi. The Hokage spoke, "Naruto, it seems the council wants to take your weapons again." Apparently, Sasuke sent a message to the civilian council. Naruto gripped the handles of his blades, his voice cold, so the brat didn't learn his lesson. He loses to me and then tries to cry his way out of it. What a joke. A civilian council member shouted, "Be silent, filth, I don't believe you're the Yondame's son." Especially after that woman tried to prove it. Before he could finish, his head was severed from his body. Naruto's face was pure anger as he declared, "I dare anyone to say that again. I absolutely dare you." Kushina stood up saying, "As head of the Uzumaki clan in Konoha, I motion that the civilian council be disbanded, and that Danzo take charge of an ANBU division." Danzo smiled in agreement, glad to be rid of the troublesome civilians. Sarutobi asked, "All in favor?" The majority of the council voted yes. All opposed. The civilian council members raised their hands, but they were outvoted. "It is decided. Danzo, you now head a division of ANBU." The civilians will no longer have any say in shinobi or clan affairs, they will only handle merchant matters. Naruto sighed, finally, you may want to check their accounts, though I suspect they've been siphoning funds. One of the former council members, Sakuya, screeched, who do you think you are? Just because your mother. Her words cut off as she felt a cold blade at her neck. Naruto's voice was as icy as his stare. If I'm no good, then what does that make you, trash? You call my mother a slut, but your own mother's the definition of it. I've heard some very interesting stories about her, how she tried to have mine killed just because she was married to my father, or how she constantly tried to seduce him when they were younger, only to be shut down by my father. Your clan's full of weak, desperate stalkers, and you're no different. Sakura shook in fear, and the surrounding civilians took a few steps back. The shinobi watched, entertained. Naruto continued, the Chunin exams are coming, and if I face your precious Uchiha, he won't leave unless he's in pieces. Now get out of my sight, weakling. The shinobi and Kunoichi cheered, saying things like, you tell her Namikaze-sama, and put that bitch in her place. Even Haku and Anko were applauding. Sakura dropped to her knees, mortified as Naruto walked away, his followers grinning. Some of the women even asked if he was available, but Anko and Haku were quick to grab his arms, saying, sorry ladies. You'll have to wait in line. Zabuza and a few others muttered under their breath, lucky bastard. Naruto led the girls into his home, with Haku clearly surprised by the layout. Anko let out a light laugh and commented, you like it. Well, get used to it because you'll be staying here, along with me. So Naruto-kun, any plans for the exams? Naruto's grin widened as he replied, oh, definitely. If I remember right, killing's allowed in the second exam, even between Leaf Shinobi, right? Anko nodded, but a shiver ran down her spine as the implications set in. Haku, confused, asked, what makes that so significant? Anko explained, normally, you can't kill another shinobi unless they commit an act of treason. They haven't stolen anything significant, and the civilian council always got in the way. But now that the council is gone, and the exam explicitly allows the death of any participant, well, guess what happens next? Haku thought for a moment before the realization hit her. So, Naruto-kun could take out those three with no consequences. Anko smiled wickedly. Exactly. And that's where the real fun begins. Haku's expression shifted into a mischievous grin. I like the sound of that. Kushina walked in just then, glancing at Naruto and commenting, my son, I'm always amazed by what you do. She hugged him, then asked, so, have you met Kayu-chan yet? Naruto hesitated. Yeah. A few times already. Kushina raised an eyebrow, and you two haven't done anything inappropriate, have you? Naruto started sweating. Well, you see, Kushina sighed, you did, huh? Fantastic. Naruto backed toward the nearest exit, but Kushina grabbed him by the collar, her voice deadly serious. Hold on a second. I just want to make one thing clear. If you hurt her in any way, I will break you until you repent. Got it? Naruto raised an eyebrow. Akasan, how do you know Kayu-chan so well? Kushina sighed deeply, simple. Before you were born, I was Kayu-chan's vessel. The group went silent as Kushina continued. My family came from a destroyed village. We had special chakra, thanks to an ancestor named Kratos. We call it the chains of the underworld, and it lets us control Biju by transforming chakra into chains. Naruto's eyes widened in awe. That's incredible, Kushina chuckled. It was. Kayu-chan and I were like sisters. So I want you to treat her right, okay? Naruto nodded. Got it, Mom. Oh, by the way, I don't think I've properly introduced you. Mom, this is Haku-chan. Haku-chan, meet my mom. Haku shook Kushina's hand, smiling. It's a pleasure to meet you. Kushina smiled warmly. Oh, you're very polite. Haku blushed slightly. Thank you. Zabuza entered, grumbling. Those civilians are real pieces of work. Some tried to pay me to take out Naruto-sama, but I made sure they didn't get the chance. Kushina sighed. Good thing you're around to take care of it. Naruto chuckled while Zabuza looked at Kushina. So you're Naruto-sama's mother? Kushina nodded. I am. Why? Zabuza's expression darkened. Those villagers really got under my skin. A few actually tried to hire me to kill him. Kushina cracked her knuckles. Is that so? Well, that's about to be their last mistake. Naruto sighed. I'm taking a nap, all right. Haku kissed his cheek. Hope you get some rest. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto woke up in his mind, where Kyuubi was curled up next to him. She mumbled in her sleep, that feels amazing. Naruto blinked, then heard her continue, your massage really helps my back. He blushed, thinking, great, she's dreaming about that now. He gently shook her and she woke up. Miss me? He teased. Kyuubi blushed, I did. They lay together and Kyuubi smirked. So, are you planning on taking out those fools during the exam? Naruto nodded, his eyes gleaming with determination. They've gotten away with too much and now they'll pay. Kyuubi shivered, her eyes flashing red. God, I love hearing you say that. Naruto, his red tribal tattoos glowing, added, this time they won't escape. Kyuubi kissed him deeply, and when they pulled away for air, she grinned. Now that the obstacles are gone, how about we create a little chaos? Naruto ran his fingers along her whisker marks, making her moan softly. I'll make sure you're free from this place too, he promised. Kyuubi laid her head on his chest, murmuring, in time, love in time. Naruto's room. Naruto woke up to a knock on the door. Haku peeked her head inside. Naruto-kun, you have a visitor. Should I tell them you're busy? Naruto shook his head. No, I'll be right down. Haku nodded and left, and Naruto went to the bathroom. While doing his business, he noticed something unexpected. His body had changed. Kaio-chan, did you do something to me? He thought. She responded, not me. You're just hitting puberty early. I've been altering your body for Kratos' techniques, but I haven't gotten to that part yet. Naruto sighed, a little warning would have been nice. Kyuubi apologized, sorry, I should have mentioned it. Naruto reassured her, it's fine, just let me know next time. After finishing, he went downstairs and saw Seiya, who was blushing heavily. Why are you here? Naruto asked. Seiya nervously replied, Danzo-sama mentioned how highly you spoke of me, and I wanted to tell you something. She hesitated, then admitted, I've liked you for a long time. I think my feelings have only grown since then. Naruto blinked, unsure of what to say. Seiya-chan, I don't know what to say. Seiya smiled softly and said, then don't say anything. She leaned in and kissed him deeply, catching him by surprise, and they ended up falling back with Seiya on top of him. When they broke apart, Naruto breathed, wow, just wow. Seiya blushed and admitted, I know you're close to Hinata-san, but I'll be here for you no matter what. Naruto smiled, thanks Seiya-chan. That means a lot. Seiya flushed deeper, Naruto-kun, you still have your hand on my, Naruto smirked. Oh, I do, what's the problem, you don't like it? She shook her head, blushing, no, I actually do. She kissed him again, just as Anko and Haku looked on from a distance. Haku asked, should we leave them alone? Anko nodded. Yeah, they've got the exams coming up, so let's leave them be. The day of the exams, the academy. Naruto, Seiya, Shino and Hinata walked to the academy, only to be met by Kiba, Sakura and Sasuke. Naruto's scowl deepened, his red tattoos flickering with power. Kiba, in his usual arrogance, taunted, better watch yourself, Naruto, nobody can save you in this exam. Naruto's glare intensified. Of all the things you need to worry about, mine won't be one of them. Kiba retorted, you can't kill me. Naruto grabbed him by the collar and pulled him close, making sure not to hurt Akamaru. You were saying. The civilian council is gone, the second exam allows killing, and if I see you in that forest, it'll be your last mistake. He dropped Kiba onto the ground, then backhanded Sakura when she tried to grab him. Don't waste my time. Next time I see you, you three will be dead. The group entered the academy, and the other genin exchanged wary looks. Anko and Kurenai were waiting for them inside. Kurenai addressed the group, I'm sure I don't need to explain what's about to happen. Naruto, behave yourself. Naruto shook his head. I'm no pervert, but if I run into that Uchiha, his harpy, or that mud again, well. Better warn Sum-san. Anko laughed, I'll take care of that, but you all need to stay sharp. Things could get messy. Naruto grinned, don't worry, I've got this. Anko and Kurenai moved aside, letting the genin enter the exam room. Training Ground 44. Anko stood before the genin, her face cold and unyielding. Any pretense of friendliness or playfulness was gone. She began, listen up. Waiver forms are being distributed, and they make it clear, if you die during this exam, it's on you. We won't be held accountable. Whether you like it or not, that's how this works. She held up 2 scrolls, one white and one brown. Once you submit your forms, you'll be given either a heaven or earth scroll just like these. There's a tower in the center of the forest behind me, and to enter, you need both scrolls. Some of the genin began to show signs of fear, but she continued, now the conditions for failure are simple. If you don't have either scroll by the end of 5 days, if you don't reach the tower in that time, or if one of your teammates dies, you're out. Also, don't even think about opening your scrolls until you get to the tower. The genin were visibly shaken, except for Naruto, his team, the Sand Ninjas and the Sound Ninjas. Choji, the one who dared to ask, spoke up. What about food? Anko gave him a cold stare. There's plenty of animals and plants in the forest. This is survival, not a vacation. If you're not into that, there's always other things to snack on. A sense of dread filled the air, and Naruto immediately picked up on a distinct scent, a familiar one that made his blood run cold. He knew who it was. So he's here too, after Sasuke, I bet. I can't let that happen. After receiving their scrolls, Naruto and his team made their way toward their assigned gate, spotting Gaara and his team not far off. Naruto had his earth scroll tied to his back, along with the blades of Athena. His eyes shifted to Sasuke's team and noticed they had a heaven scroll. Perfect, he thought with a dark smile as he patted the scroll. After their mission in Wave, he had studied the new circle of his weapons and was pleased by what he found. The signal sounded and the gates opened wide. The exam had begun. With Naruto leaped from tree to tree, with Seiya, Hinata, and Shino following closely behind. As they made their way deeper into the forest, Naruto sensed a massive surge of wind chakra heading their way. He also noticed Sasuke, Sakura, and Kiba's chakra signatures straight ahead, but something felt off. This wasn't their doing. Naruto was blasted away by a gust of wind, but Seiya used her paint beasts to hold back the others. When the wind died down, the others noticed Naruto was missing, though they trusted that he could handle himself. With Naruto crashed through several trees, but his scroll remained untouched. He stumbled to his feet and noticed a cave nearby that gave off an eerie aura. Curiosity piqued, he decided to enter, and as he did, he felt a barrier pass over him. His interest grew. What could possibly be behind such protection? As he moved deeper, the torches on the walls began to light up, revealing pictures of winged figures. Instead of the familiar harpies from his time with Kratos, the figures here were unlike anything he'd seen before. Kyubai's voice filled his mind. By the old gods, you've found this place, Naruto. Do you have any idea how lucky you are? Naruto raised an eyebrow. What makes this place so special? Kyubai responded. Those beings on the walls, they were a race of fallen angels, or so they were called. Black wings, some looked like birds, others like men with bird masks. They were fierce warriors. Naruto whistled. Sounds like I'm lucky I'm not fighting them. Kyubai giggled, her tone filled with amusement. Indeed. But what you found here is even more valuable. Naruto's eyes narrowed as he saw a scroll placed on a pedestal in the center of the cave. What is it? Kyubai's voice was filled with awe. That, Naruto, is the Blackwing contract. Unbelievable. Naruto's curiosity deepened as he asked. Wait, so those guys are like summons, like toads or snakes? Kyubai replied, yes. And while their leader might not be as large as other summon bosses, they are still beings to be respected. Naruto walked toward the scroll and unrolled it carefully. He recalled Anko's warnings about summoning contracts, then bit his thumb and signed his name in blood. After completing the necessary hand signs, he slammed his hand into the ground. Summoning jutsu. A cloud of smoke erupted, and when it cleared, standing before him was a human-sized bird. It had arms like a human, massive wings, and a set of battle armor. Its piercing yellow eyes locked onto Naruto. Naruto blinked. Who are you? The bird scoffed. You summon me and you ask my name. It seemed unimpressed. Naruto shook his head. I meant your title. You clearly must be someone important. The bird chuckled. You're wrong. I'm not the leader, but I am among the highest ranks. We go by code names, and mine is Elfin. I'm Elfin the Raven. Naruto stared, impressed by the oddness of the summon. I'm Naruto Namikaze. To be honest, I stumbled upon your scroll by accident. Elfin stared at him. By accident? You found our scroll by accident. You're certainly a peculiar one, but there's no mistaking it. You're our new summoner. Normally, the boss would approve, but I've been given that task. Naruto's curiosity grew. What do you mean? Elfin continued. Our kind has a special ability. Watch. Elfin placed a hand on Naruto's chest, and an energy surged through him. His eyes turned gold with slit pupils, and black tattoos spread across his face. Naruto staggered back. What the hell did you do to me? Elfin's laugh sounded more like a caw. That's our version of Sage Mode. It's quite powerful. Naruto felt something sprout from his back. Large black wings unfolded. What the? Elfin smirked. Like it, you've inherited more than just our abilities. You're the descendant of the god of war, after all. This is just the beginning. Naruto examined the wings, a sense of awe filling him. So, this is your gift to me, Elfin nodded. Enjoy it while you can. We'll teach you to control it later. With Naruto's team, Seiya, Shino, and Hinata were fuming. Sasuke was knocked out, and Sakura was too terrified to do anything other than complain. Suddenly, Naruto descended from above, his wings disintegrating as he landed gracefully. He looked at the group and smirked. Well, 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 you done crapping yourselves yet? Kiba growled, stepping forward. Where did you come from, jerk? We didn't ask for you. Naruto's grip tightened on his blades. Memories of the village's cruelty surged through him. Seiya put a hand on his shoulder, calming him down. We can do this the easy way or the hard way, she said coldly. Give us your scroll or you die. Kiba sneered. Try it, we won't go down easy. Naruto smirked, his tattoos glowing faintly. You never learn, do you? He then casually swung one of his blades, sending it hurtling through the air towards Sakura. The blade pierced her stomach, and as it was yanked back, Naruto drew it across her body, cutting her down in an instant. At the tower upon reaching the tower, Naruto and his team opened their scrolls. Kurenai, waiting for them, asked, How did it go? Naruto answered calmly, It went well. Sasuke's team didn't make it, they were wiped out. Kurenai didn't press for further details, understanding the unspoken message. Well, rooms have been arranged for those who arrived early. You have 3 days left. Naruto nodded. After everything that had happened, he was exhausted. He made his way to his assigned room, and as soon as he hit the bed, he was asleep, already dreaming of what came next. Forest of Death, the lifeless bodies of the once revered Team 7 lay scattered in the clearing, abandoned. 3 imposing figures stepped into the area, with the first one speaking. They may not be much, but they'll suffice in eliminating that cursed lineage of Kratos. Can you bring them back, Hades? The second figure, Hades, a massive man with a back covered in numerous needles and a helmet obscuring his face, wore 2 dark chain weapons that ended in menacing hooks, replacements for the claws of Hades, which had been taken from him by Kratos long ago. He responded gruffly, Of course, Zeus, but I'll erase their memories of their deaths to avoid further complications. The first figure, Zeus, with his striking white hair, golden armlets, and commanding presence, exuded an aura of immense power. He glanced at Hades and ordered, All right, but not the Uchiha. He will be the one to eliminate that wretched pest, and for that, he will need a reason for vengeance. Poseidon, the third figure, placed a hand on Zeus's shoulder, cautioning, Is this wise? What if he becomes just as obsessed with revenge as Kratos? If he turns against us, Zeus interrupted, his tone firm, Leave that to me. If it comes to that, destroying him will be no trouble. As the 2 brothers spoke, they saw Hades finish reviving the fallen ninja. Sasuke's eyes fluttered open. Upon seeing the 3 figures, he demanded, Who are you? What happened? Hades, already irritated by the need to cooperate with Zeus, growled quietly. Zeus, however, grinned and offered, How would you like to take revenge on the one who killed you and your team as well as your brother? Sasuke's eyes widened in shock, but seeing Kiba and Sakura still alive, albeit unconscious, he smirked. What do you want me to do? Zeus's grin grew wider, while his brothers exchanged wary glances. Tower preliminaries. Naruto stood among the genin, Akamaru by his side, when Sarutobi entered. As he began to speak, a sudden voice interrupted. Apologies for the delay, we had some trouble along the way. Everyone turned to see Sasuke, Sakura, and Kiba standing in the doorway. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Akamaru let out a nervous whimper, prompting Kiba to call out, Akamaru, come here. The dog hesitated but eventually trotted over to Naruto, confusion evident in his movements. Naruto's mind raced, and he heard the familiar voice of the Kyuubi within him. This stinks of the gods, I can smell their filth on them. Zeus must have had Hades revive them. Naruto scowled, his thoughts darkening. That makes sense, but if they try anything, I'll kill them again without hesitation. The Kyuubi chuckled darkly. I know you will. Sasuke and his team made their way to the designated area, much to the displeasure of the other genin. Sarutobi, seeing no reason to delay further, skipped his usual speech and moved straight to the first match. First match. Sasuke Uchiha vs. Akato Yori. Sakura glanced nervously at the board. Sasuke-kun can't fight, not this early. Naruto, however, saw through the deception. This feels like something the council set up, trying to show off to the foreign shinobi. As Sasuke walked toward the center, Kakashi whispered, You can't use your chakra for this match, Sasuke, or the seal will react. If that happens, it'll be over. Sasuke nodded, determination in his eyes. As the match began, Sasuke rushed at Yori, kunai raised. He's too desperate, he won't win like that. Naruto thought, knowing the Uchiha's limits. Yori dodged Sasuke's attacks with ease, then struck out with a glowing right hand, similar to a chakra scalpel. He grabbed Sasuke by the shirt, and Sasuke felt his strength draining rapidly. As he struggled, Yori chuckled, "I'm absorbing your chakra, you're finished." Realizing he couldn't rely on chakra, Sasuke remembered his fight with Lee before the exams started. With quick thinking, Sasuke ducked under Yora's guard and delivered a swift heel kick to the face, sending the enemy flying into the air. Naruto, watching intently, muttered, "The Uchiha may be copycats, but stealing Lee's techniques is low." Sasuke, now on the offensive, delivered a rapid series of attacks, using his own unique style to incapacitate Yori. With a final, well-placed blow, Sasuke sent Yori crashing to the ground. Hey, the proctor declared, "Winner, Sasuke Uchiha." Sasuke, clearly exhausted, was supported by Kakashi, who said, "Let's get that mark sealed away, shall we?" The two disappeared in a blur of speed. The next matches unfolded swiftly, with Naruto observing with a mix of curiosity and disdain, particularly at the display of the other Genin's abilities. But his attention was always sharp, ready for his turn. Fourth match. Ino Yamanaka vs Sakura Haruno. Naruto glanced at Temari and said, "I'll give credit where it's due. For a puppeteer, he's definitely putting on a good show." Kankuro, who had just approached his sister, overheard and replied, "Appreciate that. I got into puppetry after seeing the work of Akasuna no Sasori." Naruto raised an eyebrow and remarked, "A wind user, a puppeteer, and someone who controls sand effortlessly. Quite a combination. Am I right to assume you three are siblings?" Temari blushed and left for her match, while Kankuro chuckled and said, "Yep, that's us." Naruto smirked and said, "Good to see that." He watched as Temari skillfully outmaneuvered Tenten, finishing the match with ease. Then he heard a loud yahoo and turned toward the board. Seventh match, Naruto Namikaze vs Kiba Inuzuka. Author's note: yes, I skipped the fifth and sixth matches. They were the same as in canon. Naruto saw Kin being carried off on a stretcher, and sent a shadow clone to keep an eye on her. Then, he overheard Kiba boast, "We've got this in the bag, Akamaru. We'll crush that dead last easily." Naruto walked to the center of the arena and called out, "Are you coming down here, dog breath? Let's wrap this up already." His comment drew snickers from the crowd, while Kiba attempted to show off by leaping down to the floor. "Hey," the referee asked, "are both fighters ready?" After receiving confirmation, he dropped his arm and announced, "Let the match begin." Kiba sneered, "I don't know what you did to Akamaru, but I'm gonna beat you down dead last." Naruto scoffed, "I'm eager to see you try, trash." Kiba's anger flared as he shouted, "Screw you, asshole. I'll kill you and make Hinata mine. Gatsuga." Kiba spun like a tornado toward Naruto, who pulled a large, menacing-looking hammer from his scroll. The hammer, made of wood, had vicious spikes at each end, and it looked ready to crush. As Kiba got closer, Naruto swung the hammer with precision, sending Kiba flying into the wall. The arena went silent as the impact stunned everyone. Tsume and Kushina, who were watching, exchanged glances, both thinking, "Holy shit, that was amazing." Kushina quickly snapped herself out of the thought, "Wait, he's my son." Naruto casually tossed the hammer over his shoulder and remarked, "Damn, I think I might have killed him." Hinata sighed in relief, and Hate announced, "Winner, Naruto Namikaze." As the names scrolled on the screen, Hinata froze when it landed on 2. Eighth match, Hinata Hyuga vs Neji Hyuga. Sakura, who had been silently watching, sneered, "Looks like the Hyuga bitch is going to get what's coming to her for teaming up with that freak." The crowd glared at her, but she didn't seem to notice. Naruto, frustrated, muttered to himself, "Why couldn't they just leave her dead?" Kyubai's voice echoed in his mind, "I wish I knew, love, but they didn't. Does it bother you?" Naruto growled, "Of course it does. I killed her once, and they just bring her back for no reason." Kyubai teased, "Well, once these preliminaries are over, I can help relieve that stress of yours." Naruto smirked at the thought, "I'm definitely looking forward to that." Turning his focus back to the match, Naruto noticed that while Hinata was trying, Neji had the upper hand. He blocked her tenketsu, showing her weakness. "How pathetic," Neji sneered. "You are pathetic." Naruto, furious at the comment, growled, "Shut your mouth, insect. You claim to be strong, but all you do is put others down. That's the behavior of a coward." Neji, red with anger, retorted, "Silence, trash. After I deal with this main branch weakling, I'll deal with you." Neji charged toward Hinata to finish her off, but was stopped by the cold steel of Naruto's scythe. "Don't even think about moving, trash." Naruto's voice was low and dangerous. Hinata collapsed, and Kurenai rushed to her side, confirming she was in critical condition. "She's in cardiac arrest," Kurenai said, alarmed. Naruto's eyes turned a fiery red, with a ring of yellow, and he shouted, "Get those medics here now." The medics rushed in, and Akamaru followed them as Naruto instructed. Holding his scythe, he turned to Neji and hissed, "You will pray she survives. If she doesn't, you'll have a one-way ticket to hell. Do I make myself clear, you worthless piece of shit?" Neji, trembling, nodded. "She should die, as she's destined to be weak." Naruto's gaze hardened. "Fate is just an excuse for when your life goes wrong. Don't speak of it." With that, Naruto stalked off toward the stands, ignoring the rest of the matches. Seiya, the only other fighter who advanced without a fight, sat beside him. "She'll be okay," she said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Hinata's tougher than she looks." Naruto nodded grimly. "I know, but that doesn't mean Neji is free from his punishment." As they waited for the next round, Temari nudged him awake. "The matches are over, they're calling us down." Naruto got up, following her as they descended to the arena floor, where the other winners stood. Height stepped forward, holding a box. "Now that you all have won, it's time to draw your numbers for the final matches." One by one, each of the participants drew their number. When Naruto drew his, a wicked grin crossed his face. Everyone around him shivered at the dark aura he radiated. The final match lineup was set. Match 1, Naruto Namikaze vs Neji Hyuga. Match 2, Gaara vs Sasuke Uchiha. Match 3, Kankuro vs Shino Ibure. Match 4, Temari vs Dasu. Match 5, Shikamaru vs Seiya. Shikamaru groaned, not pleased about facing a girl, while Naruto silently planned his training for after the finals. He left the room alone, even Seiya knew he needed space. But as he passed by one of the rooms, he heard screams. His clone had dispelled, and he rushed in to find Zaku, one of the Sound Genin, trying to assault his teammate. Without hesitation, Naruto drew the Spear of Destiny from his scroll and impaled Zaku with it, throwing his body aside. The girl was shaken, but unharmed. "It's okay," Naruto said softly, cutting her bindings. "Let's get you out of here." She nodded gratefully. "Thank you, Naruto-sama. I'll go wherever you need me to." They walked out, only to run into Sasuke and Sakura. Naruto scowled. "Move out of my way, vermin, unless you want to die." Sasuke grinned. "You're just jealous, dead last. I have powerful allies." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "The gods of Olympus only look out for themselves. You do well to avoid them." Sasuke laughed dismissively. "Right, loser." Sakura, ever the troublemaker, sneered. "Yeah, shut up, Naruto, and take that slut with you." Naruto reached for his blade, but Kakashi appeared and intervened. "What's going on here?" he asked. "Naruto, take the girl to see the Hokage. I'll handle these two." Naruto left, and Kakashi turned to the duo. "If you two try anything against Naruto, I'll personally make sure he finishes what he started." Sasuke scoffed and walked away, while Sakura shuddered at the cold fury in her sensei's voice. Hokage Tower, Sarutobai's office. Sarutobai sat at his desk, allowing the shadow clones to handle the paperwork. He couldn't help but appreciate Danzo's suggestion, along with the efficiency of the ANBU under his command. Taking a sip of sake, he smiled as Naruto entered the room, much to the secretary's dismay. "I'll have to deal with her later." He thought, then said, "Ah, Naruto, it's good to see you. You certainly put on quite a performance. Your mother and Sumsan were quite impressed." Naruto smirked. "Thanks, though I could have made it even more impressive." Sarutobai's expression grew more serious, his gaze shifting to the person following Naruto. "Why have you brought a member of the Sound Village with you? Did something happen?" Kin nodded, nervously. "Naruto-sama saved me from being attacked by one of my teammates." "Well, former teammates now." Naruto glanced at Sarutobai and replied, "I don't trust her around other Sound Ninja, so I've brought her here for protection under my watch." Sarutobai gave a firm nod. "It will be taken care of. Now go prepare for the finals. A month passes quickly." Naruto saluted, Kin following closely behind him as they left. Namikaze compound, Naruto entered his home, frustration evident on his face after being denied a visit with Hinata by the Hyuga elders. He'd deal with them later. Before he could go further, he was greeted by Haku and Anko, who glomped him with enthusiasm. Kin stood off to the side, observing quietly. Haku spoke first. "I saw Hinata, and thankfully her injuries weren't too serious. Neji really tried to kill her. But Naruto, when you showed up you had this chilling aura of death around you." Naruto's expression darkened. "That idiot will pay for what he's done. I need to train for the finals. I'll be back soon." Haku and Enko didn't try to stop him, knowing better than to stand in his way. Kin, hesitant but respectful, said, "I understand, Naruto-sama. We'll be here when you return." Enko shot Kin a curious look. "Who is she? I know she's from the Sound Village, but why is she here?" Just as Naruto prepared to leave, he collided with Kushina, who had been heading in the other direction. The two fell to the ground, Kushina landing on top of Naruto. Her face flushed bright red. "Leaving already, Sochi?" she asked, a teasing smile on her lips. Naruto blushed too. "Yeah, I need to train for the finals. I can't do that here. I'll be back before then." Kushina smiled and nodded. "Be back the day before, okay?" "I will, I promise." Naruto stood up and offered her a hand, pulling her into a hug before he left. Timeskip Chunin exam finals. Kin and Hinata sat in the stands, enduring the constant bragging of a certain loudmouth as they waited for Naruto's arrival. The crowd was anxious, as Naruto hadn't shown up when he said he would. Only a note was found that read, "Watch the skies." Kushina was beside herself with worry, her thoughts consumed by her son's absence. Haku and Enko, equally concerned, exchanged nervous glances. Kiba and Sakura had tried to search for Naruto, but his house was locked up tight. Meanwhile, Naruto had spent the entire month training with his summons. Thanks to Elfin, Naruto had been taken to their realm, where he learned their sage mode and trained under their greatest warrior, Silverwind the Ascendant. After an intense period of grueling lessons, Naruto was gifted a dark sword, Masamune, which had the power to control shadows, similar to the Nara clan's jutsu, but more refined. Yami, the black-winged dragon and leader of the summons, had ensured Naruto was able to harness this power, adding a chakra receptor to his weapon so he could use natural chakra more efficiently. With this newfound power, Naruto was ready for the finals, but there was still no sign of him. The other competitors were looking around anxiously, wondering where Naruto and Sasuke had gone. Even Sarutobi and the Kazekage were wondering why neither had appeared. Kushina was frustrated. "Naruto promised he'd be here yesterday," she muttered under her breath. "Relax, Kushina," Enko said with a smirk. "Knowing Naruto, he's probably planning a dramatic entrance." Kurenai nodded. "Enko's right, I wouldn't put it past him." Despite their reassurances, Kushina couldn't shake the feeling of unease. "I just can't stop thinking about him." Arena Chunin exam finals. Genma stepped forward and called for the match to begin, but there was still no sign of Naruto. Neji smirked, standing arrogantly in the center of the arena. "Looks like the great Naruto chickened out. After all his boasting, he's proven himself a coward." Just as he spoke, black feathers began falling from the sky. Everyone looked up in confusion. Hinata shouted, "Look up there!" And then they saw him. Naruto descended from the sky, black wings unfurled. In one hand he wielded a dark scythe, and in the other he held Masamune, a dark sword that seemed to pulse with dark energy. As his feet touched the ground, his wings disintegrated into shadow, leaving an eerie silence in their wake. The only sound was a low, resonant tone that echoed throughout the arena. Naruto's hair had grown out, cascading down his back, giving him a more intimidating appearance. His yellow eyes glowed with a fierce intensity as he addressed the crowd. "Do not ask for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee." Genma, trying to hide his shock, nodded. "Good to see you made it, kid. You ready?" "Let's get this over with," Naruto replied coldly. "I plan on sending this fate-obsessed fool to the flames." The match began, and Neji immediately mocked him. "You dare defy fate. Fate has already decided you'll lose today." Naruto laughed, a deep, chilling sound that made the entire arena tense. "Fate? You believe in fate? What a joke, Hyuga." Neji's arrogance only grew. "Silence, you commoner. Do not think you're better than me, a Hyuga prodigy." Naruto grinned darkly. "Let me tell you a story. There were 3 sisters, each holding dominion over fate itself. But one day, a mere mortal came and defied them. He killed them one by one. So tell me, what good is fate when a mortal can slay gods?" Neji's fury boiled over. "Lies, no one can change their fate. You'll fall just like everyone else." Naruto calmly sheathed his scythe and pulled out a massive hammer. "Let's test that, shall we?" He slammed the hammer down, and to everyone's shock, a translucent figure appeared, a ghostly vision of Hisashi Hyuga. Hisashi grabbed Neji by the throat and spoke with a solemn voice. "You've fallen so far, son. Know this, if you follow the elders, you will perish." As Hisashi faded away, Naruto calmly continued, "Time to end this." He then produced a wind-powered bow and nocked an arrow. Neji attempted to block it with his rotation, but the arrow was too fast. Naruto kicked Neji into a wall, grabbed him by the neck, and growled, "You'll regret crossing me." He tossed Neji against another wall, slamming his head into it repeatedly. You know how many ways there are to kill a man. Burn the flesh, snap the bones, but to break a man's spirit, that's where the real destruction happens. Neji, bloodied and dazed, fainted. As the audience watched in stunned silence, they could hear his screams, though his body remained unharmed. Naruto's hand signs revealed he had used a twisted version of the hell-viewing genjutsu, a more intense form of Itachi's Tsukiyomi. Neji finally gasped for breath as the genjutsu ended, his fear evident. "What are you?" Neji screamed. Naruto smirked darkly. "What am I? Let me tell you. My ancestor was Kratos, the god of war. He was feared, respected. But the gods took everything from him. Now it's my turn. I will reclaim that throne." The crowd gasped as Naruto raised the blades of Athena, the sheer power radiating from them. With a slash, the ground cracked beneath him. Kushina, watching from the stands, smiled proudly. "I knew it," she thought. "He will become what he was always meant to be." Neji, barely able to comprehend what was happening, finally croaked, "I give up. I forfeit." The crowd was in utter silence. The civilians had expected the Hyuga prodigy to wipe out the demon brat, but the shinobi were left shocked at how ruthless, for lack of a better word, Naruto had been. Orochimaru, observing from the sidelines, felt a cold sweat break out on his brow. He'd heard whispers of the god of war, even if his era had long passed before the world had been reshaped. It seems the bloodline of Kratos still lives on, he thought to himself. I need to be cautious of that boy. Sarutobi, watching from above, saw the shocked faces of the civilians and thought, how does it feel? Knowing the one you've harbored so much hatred for has finally turned it back on you, you foolish little ingrates. Anko, noticing Kushina's deep blush, smirked. Are you all right, Kushina-sama? She asked. Kushina snapped out of her thoughts, her face flushed, and replied, Yeah, I'm fine, just a bit surprised by my son's match, that's all. Anko raised an eyebrow, thinking to herself, right, sure. If I didn't know better, I'd say Kushina-sama might be developing feelings for Naruto-kun. But mother? Nah, that's not happening. Temari and Kankuro exchanged looks, both contemplating whether to pull the Suna forces back. They'd heard the legends of the god of war and his home in Sparta. No one who ever dared attack a Spartan home survived. As they debated, they noticed Gaara staring intently at Naruto. What they didn't hear was Shukaku's voice inside Gaara's head, urging, Now is the time, dear one. A descendant of Lord Kratos has revealed himself. Show them who you really are. Gaara shivered, not in fear but in excitement. There was a secret about Gaara that even her siblings didn't know. While once a boy in the womb, Shukaku's sealing had caused an unintentional change, resulting in Gaara's current form. The demon had even apologized for the unforeseen sex change. Gaara's fits during the full moon were the result of Shukaku's hormonal influence, a simple fact that few knew and fewer understood. The full moon was Shukaku's time of monthly cycles, making Gaara irritable, as Dasu found out the hard way. Stadium floor, Neji lay surrounded by medics, many of whom shot accusing glares at Naruto for inflicting such damage so swiftly. Naruto scanned the stands, catching glimpses of various reactions. Some of the Jonin and Chunin clapped, while Kushina, Anko, Hinata, Kin, and Haku were the loudest in their cheering. Naruto smirked at their enthusiasm. He then heard a voice, Naruto-san, please, let me ask you one final question. To his surprise, Neji was on his knees, a rare sight for anyone familiar with him or his clan. Neji looked up at Naruto and asked, Why did you spare me? After everything I've done, trying to instill fear in Lady Hinata, I don't deserve to live. But you spared me, why? Naruto turned, his back to the arena, and the crowd fell into a hushed silence as he answered. Because of the only thing that helped her overcome her fear, hope. Hope that one day your clan will come together, that the seal on your forehead will disappear. I may despise what you've done, but I won't kill you, not when it would only sadden Hinata-chan. Hinata blushed, feeling the weight of Naruto's words. Anko, watching from a distance, smiled knowingly. Seems I won the bet, she mused. Kurenai never should have wagered on whether Naruto-kun would notice or not, but something big is coming. Neji was placed on a stretcher, passing Naruto, who nodded in acknowledgement. Hayashi, observing the exchange, turned to his youngest daughter Hanabi. The elders said that the blonde boy would lose, yet he won. Why is that, Atu-san? Hanabi asked, her voice curious. Hayashi smirked knowingly. Because, Hanabi, Neji was trapped in the elders' outdated ideals. They filled his mind with lies and arrogance, leading this clan down a path your late mother despised. Perhaps one day, you or your sister will change the course of this clan. The elders exchanged uncomfortable glances but said nothing, for challenging Hayashi's words would only validate them. Stadium stairwell. Naruto ascended the stairs, only to be confronted by Gaara. He raised an eyebrow. "Hello, Gaara-san, I take it you enjoyed the match." To his surprise, Gaara nodded and blushed faintly. Gaara took a step forward, sand falling away to reveal something startling. Her red hair now flowed past her shoulders, and her figure seemed distinctly more feminine. Naruto blinked, taken aback, before Gaara spoke. "Naruto-san, I need you to do something. Please, look toward the cage box and tell me what you smell from my father." Naruto shivered at the venom in her voice. He followed her gaze, then sniffed the air. "He smells like snakes and mud, Gaara-san. That's not your father," he said, his voice low. A single tear traced Gaara's cheek as she whispered, "He lied to me. He said he would protect me." But, before she could finish, Naruto placed a hand on her head, gently reassuring her. "We need to warn the Suna forces. You've been deceived, and we need to make sure your brother and sister are safe." Gaara looked up at Naruto, a look of gratitude in her eyes. She leaned in, kissing him softly. "Will that do?" she asked, a playful glint in her eyes. Naruto nodded, though he was still reeling. Together, they hurried back to the box where Kankuro, Temari, and Shikamaru were waiting. "Gaara, where have you been?" Kankuro asked, only for Gaara to respond coolly, "I've been talking to Naruto." Naruto spoke up. "You all need to warn your forces. Orochimaru is playing your village. This isn't over." Kankuro hesitated, but the look in Gaara's eyes made him nod and rush off to warn the Suna forces. Naruto and Gaara's linked mindscape. In their shared mindscape, Naruto and Gaara found themselves in a vast desert, the sand swirling to form the towering figure of Shukaku. "It is an honor to meet a descendant of Kratos," the Biju boomed. "I've brought you both here for a reason. As you may know, the gods of Olympus are returning. Nibai has warned us of their presence, but you, Naruto, were shielded from their knowledge because of your seal. You were not supposed to know," Naruto frowned. "But how could the gods return? They were all supposed to be dead." Shukaku chuckled, the sound like the rumbling of an earthquake. "The gods may have died, but their essence was imprisoned in Tartarus, now called the Inferno. After Kratos remade the world, the structure of Hades shifted, and Lucifer, a fallen angel, took over. He bargained with Zeus for his freedom in exchange for your life, Naruto. The gods wish you dead for the sins of your ancestors." Naruto's mind raced. "My family. What did they do to deserve this?" Shukaku's laugh was as thunderous as it was unsettling. "Your bloodline has always been a curse to the gods. Kratos, Dante, the Horseman War, each one a warrior whose actions have echoed throughout history. They've all left their mark, and now so will you. The gods are coming for you, Naruto, be ready." Stadium competitors box. Naruto and Gaara exchanged glances, and Naruto, hearing Kyuubi speak, said, "Why are you here, my love?" "I couldn't hear anything," Naruto replied mentally. "We will have much to discuss once this ends." Kyuubi responded with a nod. Gaara spoke up. "Looks like the Uchiha has finally shown up. I'll stall as much as I can, but I'll be back soon." She gave him a quick kiss on the cheek, catching both him and Seiya off guard. As Gaara passed, Seiya approached Naruto and asked, "What's going on?" "I thought Gaara-san was a guy." Naruto shook his head. "There's more happening than we realize. I don't even fully understand it myself." Stadium floor. Gaara stood in the arena, drawing confused glances from the audience due to her appearance. However, when Sasuke entered, the crowd was even more shocked. Sasuke wore golden armlets and shin guards similar to Zeus, paired with a black jumpsuit, his hair now longer. He glared at Gaara. "So, the so-called sand demon is nothing but a coward, huh? It won't matter. I'll end you in front of everyone and show the world how weak you really are." Shukaku roared in fury at Sasuke's arrogance, recognizing his armor and aligning it with Zeus, which Gaara acknowledged. Genma stood ready, signaling, "Let the match begin." Gaara's sand surged forward, attacking Sasuke like a furious serpent. He dodged, raising a hand to summon a lightning bolt. Naruto's eyes widened in shock as Sasuke hurled the bolt at Gaara's sand, easily piercing through it and grazing her armor. Sasuke, now in a frenzy, threw bolt after bolt, his face twisted with madness. Stadium stands. Kakashi watched in horror, unable to fathom where Sasuke had learned such a move. Many had assumed Orochimaru trained him, but the truth was, Zeus had been the one to teach him. Shukaku was filled with dread, Naruto was furious, and Sakura, on the other hand, wore a smug grin thinking, now Sasuke-sama is showing that sand freak who's in charge. Soon, we'll deal with Naruto too, just wait for it. Anko's mind raced. That move is cutting through Gaara's defenses, and not even Lee could do that. Something's off here. Kushina glanced at Naruto, noticing his worried expression. It must be painful for him to watch his friend like this. But when did they even become friends? Kakashi's patience snapped. If this doesn't end soon, I'll handle Sasuke myself, Kami help me. Arena floor, Gaara felt a sharp pain in her shoulder and slowly turned to find a lightning bolt embedded there, leaving a deep wound. If she didn't remove it quickly, the electricity could kill her. She yanked it out, her blood pouring out before Shukaku swiftly healed the injury. A sudden explosion echoed from the cage box, and Gaara realized the invasion has begun. I just hope Kankuro has managed to contain it. Stadium competitors box, Kankuro rushed into the box, his face grim but relieved. I reached them in time. The Suna ninja are returning to the village. Temari looked reassured, now fully informed on the situation. Naruto saw Sasuke about to strike Gaara and quickly leaped down, drawing the blades of Athena. He blocked Sasuke's path with a fierce glare. Sasuke scoffed, so demons protect their own kind, how predictable. He vanished, leaving only an ominous laugh. Naruto heard Gaara gasp and rushed to her side, seeing the wound. Temari and Kankuro were also by her side. Get her somewhere safe, Naruto ordered. She can't fight like this. Gaara met his eyes and he softly spoke. You heard me, you can't fight right now. Don't worry, I'm too strong to die. Gaara smiled as her siblings moved her away. Naruto's expression turned cold with fury. Shadow clone jutsu, he commanded. 7 clones appeared, each wielding a weapon. As Kiba and Sakura approached, he shouted to his clones, Spartans, let us show these fools what we're made of. Show them why a Spartan's home is never invaded without dear cost. To arms, my brothers. The clones grabbed their weapons and charged into the village, slaughtering any sound ninja they encountered. Turning to Kiba and Sakura, Naruto sneered, You traitors, I'll enjoy killing you again. And this time Hades won't save you. Naruto spun the blades of Athena as his clones took up all his other weapons. This was his chance to end it all. Sakura and Kiba attempted to flank him, but Naruto twirled in a fierce whirlwind, divine reckoning. The tornado grew to an immense size, and as Sakura and Kiba crashed into it, he stabbed them both in the stomach, ending their lives. Tsume, watching in despair, lowered her head at the loss of her son, but soon saw him try to take revenge. Naruto discarded their bodies and rushed to check on his mother. When he reached the stands, he found Kushina standing over a pile of sound ninja corpses, her katana drenched in blood. Naruto smiled, relieved his mother was unharmed, and left quickly, blushing slightly as he looked back. Cage box, Sarutobi, shocked and horrified, realized it was Orochimaru, the man he once considered his student, behind the cage robes. Dealing with the snake proved difficult, and things only worsened when the former cages were resurrected. Thankfully, he prevented the Yondaime from returning, or he would already be dead. Enma, his summon, struggled to help as Sarutobi exhausted more chakra. With a heavy heart, Sarutobi created 3 shadow clones and used the infinite darkness genjutsu, buying him just enough time for a final series of hand signs. Konoha streets, the Naruto clones found themselves surrounded by sound ninjas, their chakra diminishing. Then, a drumbeat echoed through the village, and Naruto's voice boomed across the streets. I trace my history, burned and bloody family trees. Native blood runs deep in me, ruthless instincts, savage need. The Naruto clones felt their eyes close slowly before snapping open, glowing red. Armed and full of rage, they began slaughtering sound ninja left and right, their weapons glowing bright red. The Konoha shinobi cheered and joined the fray. Inside the barrier, Sarutobi felt a chill creep down his spine as he continued to fight Orochimaru's undead cages. The dark, haunting melody of the song that echoed through the air sent a sense of dread into his heart. But he pushed it aside, focused only on ending Orochimaru's reign. With determination, Sarutobi lunged forward, using his clones to capture the cages while Enma's staff remained on the ground. The battle for their souls began in full force. Orochimaru hissed, Let me go, you old fool. Don't you know your ideals mean nothing, you'll die soon. Sarutobi chuckled softly. Funny thing about death, it comes for all, no matter who they are. Lords, beggars, cages, and genin alike. You can delay it, but you can't escape it forever. The Reaper steadied its blade, and Sarutobi gave the command. Do it now! Orochimaru screamed in agony as his arms began to decay. Sarutobi smirked. Seal! The soul of Orochimaru's decaying limbs was absorbed into the seal, sealing his power away once and for all. Orochimaru stared at his arms in horror. So, this is the jutsu that sealed the Kyuubi. The barrier around the arena fell, and Orochimaru's pain intensified as his arms rotted away. Kabuto arrived, his face grim. We need to retreat now. Suna's already belayed on us. We're losing badly. Realizing there was no other option, Orochimaru barked, Fine, retreat now. Call for a withdrawal. As the Sound Four prepared to flee, chains erupted from the floor, ensnaring Teuya. She cursed loudly, seeing her comrades leave her behind. Surrounded by Konoha Anbu, she saw a familiar face with brown hair and a purple ribbon just before her vision went black. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto drifted into slumber that night, with the funeral for those lost in the invasion scheduled for the following morning. He recalled a few details from the aftermath, particularly the red-haired girl, Teuya, who had been placed under his care after Kin persuaded her to stay. The atmosphere at his household was grim, with whispers among the villagers, those ignorant enough to call for Naruto's death. Those voices would soon meet a cruel fate. Naruto's eyes fluttered open, and he found himself standing on a platform that resembled the heights of Olympus. His gaze shifted to the figure of Kratos, who stood facing the storm. Naruto approached the fallen god, who spoke in a solemn tone. The grief of losing someone close to you, it's unbearable, isn't it? Naruto nodded, replying, Yes, but I will not let myself be consumed by vengeance. I've seen firsthand what it does to someone. Kratos nodded in understanding. Even I fell victim to it. I destroyed cities, lives, and even this world, all in pursuit of Zeus's death. But it wasn't until the very end that I realized my folly. He then walked toward a pedestal where a shield and spear lay. These weapons, he said, lifting them, were once mine. As a Spartan, every warrior must wield both shield and spear. Naruto took the weapons in hand. The shield's outer edge was wrapped in leather, and the spear had a grip of the same material. He threw the spear toward a pillar, watching it obliterate the stone before swiftly returning to his grasp. A dark grin spread across his face as he whispered, Impressive. Kratos placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Just remember, he cautioned, never let revenge consume you or you'll be trapped in darkness forever. Naruto nodded in acknowledgement, and as Kratos's figure faded, he vanished from the mindscape, leaving the god to contemplate the destruction he had caused, thinking, if only I had learned that lesson sooner. Namikaze Estate, Naruto's room. Naruto awoke to a lump of red in his line of sight. Haku entered the room quietly, informing him, It's a good thing you're awake, Naruto-sama. The funeral is in a couple of hours. As she left, Naruto moved aside a lock of red hair and saw it was Kushina, still holding him close even in her sleep. She mumbled softly, Oh Naruto-kun, I love you. A dark blush crept across his face. Shaking her awake, he noticed her dazed expression. When she saw him, she pulled him closer, and despite still thinking she was dreaming, she kissed him passionately on the lips. Naruto's eyes widened as he felt her tongue slip into his mouth, and without thinking, he pressed her closer, instinct overpowering reason. When they finally parted for air, Kushina blinked, realizing what had just occurred. Oh my, I'm sorry, I didn't mean. Naruto placed a finger on her lips, saying, No need to apologize. As much as this pains me to say, I can't see you as a mother. I've tried, but it doesn't feel right. Kushina looked down, her expression conflicted, but Naruto continued, That doesn't mean we can't be something else. Judging by that kiss, it seems you want more, don't you? Kushina nodded shyly, too embarrassed to speak further. Naruto kissed her cheek gently. We'll talk about it later. For now, we need to attend the funeral. Hawkage Mansion, the villagers gathered on the rooftop for the somber funeral. Many were dressed in black, and Naruto, along with his companions, arrived near the end. The elders and civilians glared at him, but he paid them no mind as a squad of clones dressed in Spartan armor marched in formation, shields and spears at the ready. They saluted the coffin before dispersing. Danzo stood before the crowd and began, Today, we remember those we lost during the invasion. No loss was as great as that of Hiruzen Sarutobi, a father, teacher, and man of honor. His memory will live on, even though he has fallen. Naruto knelt beside the coffin, shocking the crowd. He made a cross-like gesture and whispered, "In nomen Patris et Spiritus Sancti." His voice, darker and older, resonated through the air. As he rose, his eyes blackened, and his clones snapped to attention. Raising his hand, he caught a sake bottle thrown at his head, glaring toward the crowd. Sasuke was hiding among them, and Naruto smirked darkly. Danzo returned to the coffin and said, "Despite these dark times, a new Hokage must be chosen. The elders and I will determine who will lead us." The funeral concluded as everyone placed white flowers by the coffin. Naruto, however, placed a small shield inside, with the kanji for Will of Fire etched onto it. The clones gave one final salute before dissipating. A few days later, Naruto met with Danzo, who said, "Naruto, we need a new Hokage. While I would like the position myself, I know I'm no better than Sarutobi was, so you will be sent with Jiraiya to find Tsunade." Naruto raised an eyebrow. "Can he be trusted?" Danzo nodded. "He was your father's sensei, and he has looked over the seal. We've received word Tsunade will be in Tanzaku town soon, but Orochimaru is also looking for her to repair his arms. You have no time to waste. Bring one companion." Naruto nodded and left for home. Namikaze Estate. Naruto arrived home to find Jiraiya waiting and Kushina carrying a packed bag. "I take it you know what's going on?" Naruto asked. Kushina nodded. "I do, and I want to come with you. I've loosened up after the invasion. I have some things to say to Tsunade, just like I did with this pervert." She pointed to Jiraiya, who muttered, "Respectful brat." Zabuza, overhearing, approached. "You fought well, Naruto-sama. When you return, we should have a match Kenjutsu only." "Fair," Naruto grinned. "Of course." The trio set off toward Tanzaku town, unaware of the eyes watching them from the shadows. Tanzaku guy Tsunade Senju enjoyed life's simpler pleasures. A little money for gambling, a few cups of sake, and she could disappear for hours without a care in the world. Most times she lost more than she won, but when she did win, a deep sense of unease followed. A feeling that bad luck was sure to come, and today she'd hit a jackpot. "Shizune, grab the bags, we're leaving," she called out. The small brown-haired woman quickly caught up, suitcase in hand. They made their way back to their hotel. Tsunade stretched and tossed her coat onto a nearby chair, a sigh escaping her lips. "It's strange, I've had a stroke of luck. Yet I can't shake this feeling of dread." Unbeknownst to them, a woman with blue hair watched from afar, her thoughts running. "I've found them. It seems Itachi-chan will be here soon. I wonder if she brought that boy she's always mentioned along for the trip." Tanzakugai Gate, the group of 5 arrived, and Itachi immediately spotted Konan waiting for them. Naruto couldn't help but suppress a blush. Konan appeared angelic, with her striking blue hair adorned with a delicate white flower, and her piercing gaze that held a mysterious depth. Her body seemed slightly off, betraying the fact that she was a clone. "Mistress is waiting," she spoke. "The targets are in a bar nearby. They've already made contact with Orochimaru." Naruto growled at the mention of Orochimaru's name, which caught the clone's attention. "Itachi-chan, you were right," the clone noted. "This boy definitely has that wild charm. Those tattoos make it all the more striking." She vanished in a swirl of paper, leaving Kushina to giggle, Itachi blushing slightly, and Naruto looking thoroughly embarrassed. Jiraiya and Kasame both laughed heartily. Itachi quickly regained her composure. "Let's move on," she urged, and they all continued toward their destination. Naruto led the way to the bar, with Jiraiya speeding ahead to speak with Tsunade. Kushina took a slower pace and linked arms with Itachi, whispering, "So you talk about Naruto-kun a lot, huh?" Itachi's face turned crimson. "I'll admit, yes, but only to Konan. No one else knew about him. Well, Kushina giggled softly. "He's in the CRA, maybe keep that in mind," she teased. Itachi's blush deepened and her thoughts began to wander. Naruto entered the bar to find Jiraiya chatting loudly with Tsunade. He walked up behind the perverted sage and slapped him upside the head. "Are you serious, old man? If Orochimaru's nearby, is it really wise to be so loud?" Tsunade chuckled, clearly tipsy, her face flushed. "Who's this kid, Jiraiya? He's got more sense than you, huh?" Naruto deadpanned. "You could say I'm on the same mission as him." Tsunade raised an eyebrow. "What mission would that be?" she asked. Naruto sighed. "You may not know, but the Leaf Village held the Chunin exams recently. Orochimaru attacked the village during the event. Sarutobi fought him, but he lost his life. However, Sarutobi managed to disable Orochimaru's arms. No doubt, he's looking for you to repair them." Tsunade's face darkened. "He's come. He told me Saru Tobai-sensei was dead, but I didn't want to believe him. But I know you're here for more than just that snake. Naruto chuckled darkly. We're here to find you and hopefully convince you to return to the village. It needs a cage, and you're the best fit for the job. Tsunade scowled. Not a chance, she snapped. I won't bet my life on something as foolish as being Hawkage. Just then, Kushina made her entrance, and a tense silence fell over the room. She cracked her knuckles and said, Did I just hear you, Tsunade? Tsunade turned quickly. Sorry, Kushina, but I can't do it. Shut up. Both Naruto and Kushina shouted in unison. Kushina grabbed Tsunade and dragged her outside, Naruto following behind. They were met by Konan and the rest of the group. Kisame grinned, commenting, Looks like the old bird really ticked them off. Not exactly a wise choice, huh? Itachi and Konan nodded knowingly, having heard of Kushina's notorious temper. Tsunade stood up, clearly irritated. All right, if you two are so eager to fight, let's make it a bet. If you can't take me down, I won't return to the leaf. But if you do, I'll gladly join you. Kushina cracked her neck, and Naruto summoned two massive gauntlets from his scroll. They were silver, with large rings resembling a lion's mane on the front. He readied himself, the rings sliding forward with a hiss. Jiraiya acted as the judge, and with a wave, the fight began. Kushina delivered a brutal uppercut to Tsunade's chin, while Naruto hit her square in the stomach. He threw a punch, the lion's head attached to a chain, and it latched onto Tsunade's ankle. With a sharp tug, she was pulled back, and both Naruto and Kushina slammed punches into her gut, sending a shockwave through the ground. Kisame, wide-eyed, muttered, Holy hell, remind me never to cross them. The others could only nod in agreement. Naruto dismissed his weapons, walking over to Tsunade, who was lying in the dust. Jiraiya, still stunned, watched as Naruto slapped Tsunade awake. You sober yet, old bat? He asked. Tsunade groaned, realizing she'd been thoroughly beaten. Damn it, that's the last time I make a bet after drinking, she muttered. Jiraiya chuckled. You said the same thing after we played strip poker that one time. Tsunade blushed, the memory clearly embarrassing her. Kushina hugged Naruto. That was fun, I haven't had that much fun in a while. Konan walked over, a smile on her face. You two fight well together, she teased. I think most people would assume you're lovers the way you work as a team. Both of them blushed, prompting a chorus of giggles from the girls. Naruto, still red in the face, turned to Konan. There's something I've been meaning to ask. Why did you three leave the Akatsuki? Konan, Itachi, and Kisame exchanged looks before Konan answered. I joined because my closest friend sought peace, and the Akatsuki seemed like the means to that end. But recently, I've seen him meeting with another member, Tobai, and a man with a white beard and golden shin guards. They spoke of ending this era and creating something they called Olympus. Naruto's face darkened. Zeus, he growled. That bastard wants to not only kill me but take back his empire. I should have known. Konan raised an eyebrow. Who is this Zeus? She asked. Naruto sighed. Zeus was a god from the old world, before the first rebirth of our world. He was the king of gods, and he tried to kill my ancestor countless times. If he's here, he's using the Akatsuki to fulfill his twisted goals. Itachi hugged Naruto from behind. If that's the case, we'll help you stop him, she vowed. Kisame grinned. Count me in, I never liked the Akatsuki anyway. Konan smiled warmly. I'm with you too. I want to see the god of war rise once more. Kushina's chest swelled with pride, and Jiraiya smirked. Well, enough of this talk, we've got a snake to deal with. Naruto grinned. Good, I've got a plan to end him once and for all. The team shared his grin. Orochimaru wouldn't know what hit him. 2 days later, Orochimaru and Kabuto stood in the alley where they had encountered Tsunade before. Suddenly, a loud noise erupted around them, followed by an overwhelming darkness that covered their vision. A voice echoed from the darkness. Well, it seems we meet again, Orochimaru. It's been too long, hasn't it? I almost forgot about the blood between us. The darkness parted, revealing Naruto, his eyes burning with fury. You gave those bastards on the council the very medicine that kept my mother away from me for 15 years. You tortured Anko-chan with that cursed seal of yours. You've ruined countless lives. Why, to buy yourself a few more years of life? He took a step forward, eyes narrowed. And let's not forget, you killed your own sensei. He's dead because of you, his family mourns because of you, but don't worry, I'll bring them your head. In a flash, Naruto threw hooks at the two, their bodies pinned by paper and sharks. They tried to fight back, but their chakra was draining. Kisame held Samehada against them, siphoning their energy. Orochimaru and Kabuto struggled, but their souls were slowly being pulled away. Naruto walked toward them, his expression cold. With a swift motion, he pierced their chests and tore out their still-beating hearts. He then decapitated them with the blades of exile and mounted their heads on a pike, raising it high. A flood of memories rushed through his mind. Saladin's forces are routed, we've got them on the run. Dante, can you hear me? We've taken the city. The next day Naruto woke up with a sharp headache as unfamiliar memories began to flood his mind. He saw a man dressed in white armor battling legions of demons, some aflame, as he repelled them with what seemed like a cross. He also saw a figure in red, a hood concealing most of his face, wielding a massive sword that dwarfed Zabuza's blade. The man journeyed through a desolate world, slaying demons of all sizes. His thoughts were interrupted when Shizune, Tsunade's apprentice, entered the room and said, "It's a relief you're awake." Everyone was starting to worry. Naruto yawned and asked, "What happened?" Shizune chuckled and replied, "You did what you said you'd do, took care of things, and then you passed out. You've been out for a couple of days, but now that you're up, we can start heading back to the village." Tsunade-sama's still sulking over how easily you and Kushina-san beat her. She's blaming it on the sake. Naruto shook his head and said, "It doesn't matter anymore, we made a deal and she has to keep her word." Shizune laughed and added, "You can count on me to never let her forget it." Naruto then saw Itachi and Konan enter, both now without their Akatsuki cloaks. Itachi still wore his usual outfit, a black shirt over a fishnet top, ANBU-style pants, and his ninjata strapped to his back. Konan, however, stood out with her revealing attire. A black shirt with no back or shoulders, showing off her smooth skin, and a zipper running down the front. The shirt acted as a collar, leaving her stomach exposed, with piercings around her navel. Her black hip-hugger pants and classic kunoichi heels completed the look. Naruto froze, wide-eyed, and Konan teased, "Oh, do you like what you see?" Naruto's face flushed, and his nosebleed worsened as Kyuubi remarked, "She looks divine. I bet those hips would be perfect for bearing kits." The girls giggled, and Naruto promptly fainted. Tsunade and Kushina, hearing the commotion, entered the room. Tsunade's forehead vein twitched at the sight of his nosebleed, while Kushina smirked and said, "I bet Kyuubi-chan had something to do with it. And Konan, I'm guessing it was about you." Konan's face flushed red, not expecting the Kyuubi to be female, much less a bit of a pervert. She wondered, what did she say about me that made him faint? Time skip, 2 days later, Konoha Gate the group arrived back at the village, moving at a faster pace thanks to Jiraiya's toads. As they approached the gate, Itachi felt uneasy, and Kasame kept a watchful eye. Tsunade and Shizune were haunted by some old memories, while Kushina shuddered. Even Jiraiya felt the tension. Their instincts proved right when they saw a mob of civilians, with Sasuke and Sakuya leading the charge. Naruto and Tsunade jumped down, and Tsunade demanded, "What the hell are you doing? Do you know who you're threatening?" Sasuke smirked and sneered, "Yeah, these people want to rid the village of the demon." He raised a giant sword, his expression full of disdain. Naruto drew Masamune, its blade cloaked in black chakra, just as a squad of ANBU appeared, splitting the two sides. The captain said, "Leave now or face the consequences. You dare attack a hero of this village, our new cage." The civilians hesitated, but before anyone could react, a woman with pink hair screamed, "He killed my daughter, he must pay." She charged at Naruto, but he sidestepped her, knocked the kunai from her hand, and stabbed a blade of exile into her gut. He dragged it across her abdomen, splitting her in two, the blood flowing into the blade, which faintly glowed red. He pointed it at the crowd and asked, "Anyone else want to try? I'll gladly send you to hell." The crowd scattered in fear. Sasuke, seeing the scene, vanished in a flash of lightning. Naruto thought, Zeus is teaching him a lot, but tricks won't save him from my blade. Itachi couldn't help but shiver. God, that was intense. Naruto turned to see Kushina grinning, and even Jiraiya chuckling. Just then, he felt several weighty presences on his back, and the next thing he knew, Anko, Seiya, and Haku had glomped him. Zabuza laughed as he approached, while the ANBU squad looked on, sweat dripping. The captain asked, "Naruto-sama, was that necessary? She was a grieving mother." Kushina scoffed, "Necessary? Hell yes, she came at him with the intent to kill. Just like her daughter. I remember she tried to kill me because of Minato, she got what was coming to her." The captain nodded. "Understood, self-defense it is, have a good day." The ANBU disappeared in a blur, leaving the group in the street. The girls still clung to Naruto. Kyuubi continued teasing, and Naruto had no idea whether to be embarrassed by his flushed face or the situation he found himself in. He really didn't want to think too hard about it, especially when Seiya grabbed his rear. Time skip. 2 days later, Tsunade's coronation should have been a smooth affair. Instead, it was met with outrage as civilians tried to place the Hokage hat on Sasuke's head. The situation was diffused when Naruto brought a massive boulder to the stage, which Tsunade obliterated with a flick of her finger, warning, "The next idiot who tries something like that, I'll crush their skull." Tsume, attending the ceremony, left in disgust, muttering, "This place reeks." But the trouble didn't stop there. The civilians attempted to have Naruto executed for the murder of Sakuya Haruno. Thanks to testimonies from Tsunade and the ANBU present, the charges were dropped, though a sword at their necks certainly helped. Now in her office, Tsunade sat, sipping sake, when a clone handed her a scroll. She quickly opened it, her eyes widening. She immediately shouted, "Get MENARUTO NAMIKAZ now." Namikaze Estate. Naruto and Kushina practiced in the yard, with Naruto wielding the blade of Artemis and Kushina using her personal katana. Seiya, Itachi, and Haku watched in awe as Naruto swung the massive blade with ease. Kin and Teuya arrived, and Teuya, seeing Naruto cut a tree clean in half, muttered, "Holy shit, I'm glad I'm on his side." She blushed when Kin slapped her on the rear, reminding her, "No cursing, Teuya-chan, you know better." Teuya, red-faced, grumbled, "Not in front of them, geez." The sound of crashing metal stopped as they all turned to face the newcomer. A female ANBU appeared in the yard, informing Naruto, "Naruto-sama, Lady Tsunade requires your presence immediately. There's an urgent mission." Naruto grew serious, then vanished, leaving the others sighing as they reluctantly watched him go. Tsunade's office. Naruto stood in Tsunade's office, a confused expression on his face. "You mind running that by me again?" Tsunade's eye twitched as she explained, "I'm assigning you to an A-rank mission of utmost importance. The Amazon village is facing the threat of an attack from Iwa. Being on the border of Earth Country, it's a precarious situation. You're the best we have." Naruto frowned. "Last I checked, that place is no man's land. Even that pervert wouldn't step foot there. They'd rather cut off my junk than let me help." Tsunade smirked. "Actually, the queen herself requested you. It must have something to do with your new title." Naruto sighed, wondering when something like this would happen. He had expected religious fanatics first. Somewhere in the Akatsuki base hidden, Ever the Devout sneezed, causing Kakuzu to lose count of his money. "You son of a bitch, that took me 3 hours." Hidden raised his scythe, grinning, "Bring it on, greedy asshole. I'd love to send you to Lord Jashin." Pain, searching for Conan, saw the duo fighting and thought, what the hell happened to this organization? Tsunade's office. Naruto shook his head and said, "Fine, but if anything happens down there, you can be sure Anko will have something to say about it." Tsunade's eye twitched and she retorted, "Just get going, brat. We don't have time for your whining. I'll let the others know what's happening." Naruto scoffed but headed toward the west gate, heading in the direction of the Amazon village. In his mind he thought, "I've got a bad feeling about this." Shortly after he left, Anko entered the office, her face clouded with concern. "Where's Naruto?" she asked. "Did you give him a mission?" Tsunade sighed. "I did. He was specifically requested to help the Amazon village deal with a situation involving Iwa." Anko paled. "Are you kidding? Those women will tear him apart before he even gets a chance to explain, not even Kurenai's as hostile toward men as they are." Tsunade's expression darkened, and she immediately reached for a few bottles of sake. Amazon forest. Naruto leaped gracefully through the dense trees, hoping that the queen had at least warned her people of his arrival. Suddenly, he heard something cutting through the air. A fire-tipped arrow whizzed by him. With no time to hesitate, he quickly jumped aside and spun around to spot the shooter. His heart skipped a beat as another volley of arrows flew at him. This time, he summoned the Spartan shield, blocking the arrows as they bounced off harmlessly. "Please tell me the queen gave them a heads-up about me," he thought desperately. From a distant branch, a voice called out, "Step out from behind your shield, male scum. I don't care if the queen requested you, I'll end you before you take another step." Naruto scowled and scanned the area, spotting the source. She stood poised with a bow, crafted from vines rather than wood. She wore a brown vest with red accents and a skirt reminiscent of a Spartan warrior. Her hair was pale gray, and her blood-red eyes glinted dangerously. The Amazoness archer knocked another arrow, but was halted by the sound of someone else approaching. "Hold your fire, sister. The queen gave orders to escort him, not to kill him." The archer hesitated, then lowered her bow. Naruto's eyes flicked to the new arrival. This second woman wore a white skirt and hood, adorned with gold bracelets on her arms and legs. Feathers were incorporated into her attire, and she carried a double-sided sword, strikingly similar to a giant. With a glance the archer now identified as Artemis grumbled, "Why are we even allowing this male to enter our village? He's just another man trying to ruin our world." The second woman, who had been addressed as Aphrodite, responded coolly, "Artemis, our queen believes in breaking tradition. We're not here to argue, but to get him to the village, whether you like it or not." Naruto stepped out from behind his shield, raising his voice. "Hey, I don't appreciate being insulted. Just because you've had bad experiences with men doesn't mean you can take it out on me." Aphrodite stepped forward and offered a calm explanation. "Please forgive her, she's been raised with the old ideals. The queen, though younger, wishes to change that." Naruto nodded, listening as Aphrodite continued. "You were called here to help with an impending attack. I understand the situation. Iwa's rogue ninjas and mercenaries are planning to raid the village, but we've got a strategy in place." As Artemis glared at Naruto, Aphrodite added, "Though we don't want your help, we certainly need it." Kyuubi, ever the teasing presence, spoke in Naruto's mind. "I have to admit this Aphrodite is quite the looker. And Artemis, well, she's got her charm too." Naruto flushed, half in embarrassment, half from Kyuubi's teasing. "Stop it, Kyuubi. If they think I'm perving on them, they'll castrate me." The Amazons blindfolded Naruto, ensuring he wouldn't reveal the location of their village. When they removed the cloth, he found himself at the village gates. His first impression was a simple one. The homes were modest wooden huts with straw roofs. The women had somber expressions, and Naruto sighed inwardly. "Great, another place where they want me dead for something I can't control." They led him toward the largest hut in the center, no doubt where the queen resided. Artemis's gaze was cold, but she spoke curtly, "Show respect to our queen, male." Inside, the queen waited, seated on a white throne. She appeared relaxed, holding a massive sword as if it were a simple staff. Her attire was simple yet practical, taped-up feet, shin guards, and a decorated brassiere with a skull eye patch over her right eye. She was a striking figure. Later that night, Naruto sat by the fire in the village square, unable to approach the huts. "So far, it's just been the same as everywhere else. They either want me dead or are too wary of me to do anything." Kyuubi's voice echoed in his mind. "I agree, my kit. Though that Aphrodite girl seems a bit more open-minded. The queen knows who you are, that much is clear." As if on cue, Aphrodite appeared, sitting next to him. "Don't get the wrong idea," she said flatly. "I just figured you looked lonely." Naruto smiled slightly. "Thanks. I appreciate it, especially since everyone here seems to hate me." Aphrodite raised an eyebrow. "Everyone? What do you mean by that?" Naruto looked away, unsure if he wanted to delve into his past. "It's personal, I'd rather not say." The next morning Naruto woke to find Aphrodite gone from his side. He quickly stood, readying himself for battle. Aphrodite emerged, sword in hand. "You ready?" she asked softly. Naruto nodded. "Yeah, let's end this before it gets worse." Hera gathered her people and addressed them. "We are few in number, but we are strong. Today, we face an enemy that seeks to destroy all we've built. But we stand with the god of war." Naruto stepped forward, causing an uproar among the Amazons. He laid out a map of the area his clones had prepared, explaining his plan to defend the village. Despite the distrust of many, even Artemis was swayed by his confidence. The field before the village, the rogue Iwa ninja and their mercenaries made their approach, unaware of the traps laid before them. As arrows rained down, they were caught off guard by the ambush. A few of the mercenaries panicked and ran, only to collide with each other, allowing Naruto's clones and the Amazons to launch their attack. With Nemesis Whip, the clone gripped the Nemesis Whip, crackling with lightning as he deftly twirled it in his hands. One of the mercenaries, gaining a moment of false courage, spoke up, "We can handle just one." But his words were cut short as a dart struck his neck, courtesy of Amazonas Blowpipe. Panic swept through the remaining mercs, and before they could react, electric shocks coursed through their bodies. A few managed to break free, only to have the backs of their legs sliced, the sudden shock causing painful cramps that immobilized them. Nemesis walked calmly among the fallen enemies, methodically slashing their throats. Blood flowed into the blade, the lightning gradually shifting to a deep crimson hue. With Hermes's boots, the mercenaries kept running, only to find the clone always blocking their escape. Then they noticed his shin guards adorned with wings. He planted one foot firmly on the ground, and in an instant, he was gone in a yellow blur. When he reappeared, a few of their comrades were clutching their necks, blood seeping from them. They turned to face the clone, who held a blood-soaked kunai. Panicking, some attempted to fight back, but they were met with the clone vanishing again. They collapsed in a bloody heap, their life force drained by the boots, now glowing red beneath the clone's feet. With claws of Hades, the clone leapt effortlessly, dodging the mercenaries' various attacks, the chains adding fluidity to his movements. His back pressed against an Amazoness warrior with silver hair, armed with a chain and hook. Her figure was as formidable as her weapon, despite the tattered blue attire she wore. "This is getting us nowhere," the clone muttered. The woman smirked. "Agreed, perhaps. I aim high, you aim low," the clone interjected with a grin. "You read my mind," she replied. Together, they leapt into the fray. The claws tore through the mercenaries, stealing their souls, while the woman's chains siphoned the blood from their lifeless bodies, leaving behind gaping wounds. With Nemean Cestus, another clone fought alongside an Amazoness, skilled in hand-to-hand combat. She wore a mix of dominatrix-style clothing and boxing gear, with leather straps wrapped around her waist. Her muscular frame stood out among the others, and her hair was pulled into a large ponytail. "This one's fast," the clone thought, impressed. Just then, a merc charged at her, only to be greeted by a devastating right hook that crushed his skull. The clone watched in awe. "Tsunade could have taught this one," he muttered. He refocused when he saw another merc trying to sneak up behind her. Before the man could react, his insides were crushed by a powerful blow from both the clone and the Amazoness. "You fight well for a guy," she teased. "You're not too bad yourself," the clone replied as more mercenaries approached. With blades of exile, the clone stood, twin blades ready, back-to-back with an Amazoness swordswoman. Her attire was similar to the others, short, revealing, and spiked in various places. Her wild red hair and toned physique were nothing compared to the blade she wielded. "Seems like we've got quite the crowd," she remarked, glancing at the approaching enemies. "Think it's too much for us?" the clone asked. She shook her head. "No, but things might get tricky if one more shows up." The clone chuckled. "Then I'll handle that one." They split apart, each cutting through two mercenaries at once with their blades. With Naruto watched as his clones effortlessly dispatched the mercenaries. Turning to the few remaining ninja, he saw that the Chunin had fallen into a trap, leaving only two Jonin. Aphrodite charged at one, while Naruto, wielding the death scythe, moved to engage the other. "Why are you helping them?" the Jonin asked. "If you join us, you'll get a share of the loot, the gold, and maybe some women." Naruto's expression darkened. With a single, swift motion, he severed the Jonin's arm and kicked him forcefully into a tree. Slowly approaching, he sneered, "I don't want your riches, but I will take your life." He swung the scythe underhanded, slicing through the man's stomach before discarding the corpse. He turned toward Aphrodite, but what he saw made his blood boil. The Jonin had her pinned against a tree, his eyes gleaming with lust. Before the man could make a move, he felt an excruciating pain in his stomach. Looking down, he saw the large blade lodged deep within him. Before he could react, Naruto lifted him high, and the last words he heard were, "Burn in the inferno," as Naruto ripped his body in half. Aphrodite blacked out as Naruto picked her up, carrying her to safety. Later that day, Aphrodite awoke with a start, her wounds tended to by the village shaman. She looked around in confusion. "What happened?" she asked weakly. The shaman placed her tools down. "The man, he brought you to the village while his clones wiped out the mercenaries. It was a slaughter. I never thought I would see the return of the god of war. My ancestors spoke of him in legends, but I never imagined. Times are changing, child. You'd be wise to stay with him." Outside, voices raised in argument. Aphrodite stepped outside, noticing Artemis and a few other Amazons in the village. She overheard Hera saying, "I understand your feelings, but he saved our village. It's the least we can do." Artemis shot back, "But why? Why must Aphrodite be given to that male filth?" Aphrodite blushed and thought, "I'm going to leave the village, with Naruto-sama. What's going on with the queen?" She slowly walked outside, catching Artemis' angry words. "Be happy, sister, now you get to be with this male trash all you want." Hera's stern gaze silenced Artemis. "Enough, Artemis, it's still Aphrodite's choice." Aphrodite raised an eyebrow and asked, "What's all this about?" Naruto sighed and explained, "It seems the queen wants to form an alliance between my clan and this village. And the way she's doing it, well," Artemis interrupted, You're being married off to this male scum, that's what's happening. Aphrodite paused. Her mind drifted back to the shaman's words. She turned to face Artemis and declared, "Is that so?" "Well, I'd be honored to, as not many can say they're married to the god of war." "Can you?" Naruto simply thought, "I knew this wasn't going to end well."